has some of her own initiation type abilities with her relay bolts to be able to clear out certain corners and angles similar to what Breach would do for you to kind of help roll out. And then the thing is, when you're playing an Astra, that's a controller that has more utility than just smokes. You know, has stuns, has gravity wells, has other like little things to set up the duelist on the board that kind of makes up for not having a second initiator.
Fair enough. Well, things to keep our eye on as we jump on into the pistol. G2 starting as the attacking side. Just kind of feeling things out. The early Boombot defensively has G2 mildly interested to see if anyone from BreakThru may aggressively try to peek through this, but not to be as of yet. It'll be Trailblazer just to confirm that in. And you figure with the minute on the mark coming up, you're probably going to get an idea as far as what G2 wants to do with this round.
Yeah, I mean, G2's done a lot of good work denying information on the A side between the Cyber Cage and now that Trailblazer. They also know that sewers and A are clear, so they can fall back to it if they need to. But instead, they're going to pressure Garage while simultaneously taking into the front side of B. So they're just really multi-pronged pressuring the map right now against BreakThru. They haven't committed to anything just yet, but now, as we can see, looks like they want to try to take the spike over into C side, but that Aftershock will stop them.
Oh, and that's fine for Proto, able to take down one on the exchange. The Aftershock was well predicted by Fly, but now he's got to come into this site or just play a little bit more passively. Paint shells to try to clear off the side of the site while Sim makes his way in, and the kills are so clean. Brilliant adjustment and a great contest, never letting the spike go down. BreakThru take the pistol.
Yeah, I mean, again, that was a great Aftershock from Flya. They got the read that they were bouncing off of B after the initial exchange at the front side of the site. He slows them down from being able to press through the link. This gives more time for his teammates to rotate, and then boom, they can snap with their own flashes to get back onto C site along with the paint shells from Sim and just completely shut down the G2 attack. That was really well managed by BreakThru. Good early signs, though, from G2 on how they were able to control the map and leave all their options open. So they didn't necessarily do anything wrong. They just lost a really big exchange on the C side itself.
Fair enough. Opening flash coming out as Sim is the one responsible for A-Long for the second straight round. Trap and a lot of utility laid behind this for G2 would lead you to believe that they're not really going to be ever interested in going towards A, although the defense have hard committed to a 3-2 stack. So defensively, it's on the pressure of what exactly can Thief and Proto do over towards C. Utility kind of pushing them back once again. Defense on the quick rotation, and G2 are just backing away, kind of playing with their food a little bit here.
Yeah, G2 are really good at feinting on this map. You know, just like creating that, again, that multi-pronged pressure throughout the course of the round, never really giving you a good idea on exactly what they're going to finally commit to. They're good at that info denial. And again, they're keeping it up, right? They're pressuring long A with this Cage and this Guiding Light. They still have Garage presence with two of their players. They're still watching for any type of long C push with the Astra on Whippy. And so they still have all their bases covered as they do now take into Garage and look to set up the C split.
This time Flya is not going to stop the front door from being pushed into. Paranoia out. Proto will be a little bit stuck on towards the site. Thief looking to assist, but the kills come through for G2. This is a force buy from G2, mind you, with the Stinger, Zed, and Penny over to the quick classic. Tallies up the 3-for-2 exchange, allowing for the plant to come out, and now G2 pressed on the retake.
Gonna be a tough one, though, being a couple of men down, especially with Shazam being able to heal Penny back up to almost full health. That flash comes in to add to it, and boom, it's on.
Dapper on the back for free, but Shazam beats him to it. That is brilliantly done. Shazam with the regrowth in, and then immediately follows up off of his own flash. Changes things up. So the gamble stack for G2 to go into Spingers will work out, and a little bit of a flip of the economy here going into round 3 as BreakThru will be just on pistols.
Yeah, really good force buy win there from G2 to crack the pattern right away, get the 1-1 split and force to save out of BreakThru, giving them now the edge. Again, they're going to keep things up by having that widespread map control style, not committing to anything too early here. They do seem like they want to at least show some good presence at C early.
Yeah. Nothing serious, though, and the longer this goes on with this little, we're going to poke, we're going to prod, and then we're going to back away, the more that BreakThru will start to get familiar with this and do things like this, where if you're going to show pressure but not actually take the ground, we will still walk forward. So you've got a double stack at A long, and really it's just on to, can Sim stay concealed? And yeah, he will. Good focus here, pushing mostly towards Brock to allow Sim a chance, but he guesses the timing incorrectly. Two will collect first blood.
Yeah, they maintain that A presence without having to commit much personnel to it thanks to that frag. Not only that, they're still keeping tabs on long C with Whippy. They still have some middle control as well. One thing they don't really have is Garage. Thief's still kind of guarding that pretty strongly. But G2 will pivot. All the numbers now seemingly gathering over at long C. The only defense there right now is going to be a Proto just jump spotting it, but he's got some utility to try to slow them down and buy time for rotations.
Well, there's the burst on. Oxy right up close and personal. But the response from Thief, well formed. Gives a chance to these defenders, and the Sheriffs are going to win out the initial engagement. The problem was Whippy was lingering behind, and the Vandal was too much to handle. 3 kills for Whippy, and G2 survive the round.
Yeah, survive is a key word there. That definitely didn't come as easy as they were hoping it would, considering what firepower advantages they brought into that round. But they do get the job done nonetheless. They're able to still have a full buy this round. Oxy has Blade Storm, so we'll be able to get the daggers out to go alongside the rifles of his teammates. Full buy as well here for BreakThru, though there is no operator on the table. And a Proto is going to be on the Bulldog.
Okay. Definitely enough to fight through this. See what Oxy wants to do with these knives. Flash over the top, they're going to go quick. Penny already forward, relay bolt down, but how about the moving shells combo? Sim's able to kind of delay this a little while longer, and he blast packs away safely. That is some key movement from BreakThru to avoid what looked like an early onslaught from G2.
Right,
yeah, I thought the stun combination from Penny with Oxy was going to allow that Blade Storm to wreak havoc on those long A players, but like you said, BreakThru able to get out of dodge, reset up their defense now at the short side. Brock will drone up through sewers. It doesn't really get too much of a read. Again, G2 are doing a good job of spreading the map in these early round situations, keeping the pressure on multiple fronts at once. This time, Trailblazer cleaning out Garage in the link area, but no follow-up just yet. And this has been kind of G2's bread and butter, just kind of playing out this little default map control style.
Yeah,
and Shazam puts a lot of pressure here with that break of the camera.
Thing is, you're 42 seconds, no spike. So you're going to go quick to A. There's a 3-man stack here, including for Flya to use his utility to stall this a little while longer. Thing about this is they're not giving away any information, no sound cues. Brock will eventually catch wind of this, but they're stuck down in sewer. What can you find here if you're BreakThru? The answer, absolutely nothing. Dapper gets the double, 20 seconds on the clock. You still have to make your play very rapidly forward, and it actually looks like BreakThru are going to back away and forfeit the round.
Yeah, that was a really nice attack from G2. I understand where you're coming from with the time running a little bit low, and you're right. It could have come back to haunt them if Dapper goes down in sewers and the A-split gets broken apart. You know, that is the risk you take when you bleed the clock down that low. But G2 were very good about kind of methodically carving their way into A in that late round situation. You know, they were playing contact. They weren't giving away any intel to BreakThru. You know, they have plenty of utility that once they do make contact that they can kind of, you know, get themselves favorable duels, and that's exactly what they did in sewers. Get those 2 frags with the spike down and seal the deal for a 3-1 lead. As the big thing that I'm just loving to see, even like from like a neutral standpoint, is seeing players come back into form. I mean, to see Dapper like back comfortable on his Cypher, back being the Sentinel player we know that he used to be capable of back in 2021. And the same thing for Penny. Penny was right there. Like, when you're talking, like, late 2021 and early 2022, we were comparing this guy to a Leaf, to a Zeppa, to a Ye, to the best duelist in the region. And then he kind of just slid off while those other guys kind of left Frog in front of him. But on this team, he's starting to get back to, you know, that snappy aim and that flashy style that makes you think that he's back. And if that's the case, G2 are loaded with talent.
Absolutely.
See if they can keep it up.
We are strong.
It's just the identity of what right now is no longer just a sit and scope mentality. I mean, we're seeing so much more Neon. We're seeing a lot of Yoru coming into the play as we get an early aggressive little push through for Dapper just through his own cyber cage. That elimination will allow him to convert off of his neural theft. So this should result in immense map pressure from G2 with the lay of the land. And yeah, I think that your reaction says it all as Oxy breaks.
It's the nostalgia of watching Dapper own people at long A through cages on Haven. I mean, it just really winds back the clock to the heyday of Sentinels when you see that sort of thing going on, as they are going to get that spike down into B, and the retake from BreakThru going to be tough with a man down.
They do have Paranoia if they decide to use this to clear out Oxy deep, which he's now been seen. Still finds one. Paranoia is held on to for the deep on the retake. Toggle off the spike defusal. Team shots, though, coming from window. We'll make sure no one is on. Some second guessing and consideration as now the paranoia is out, but they don't predict Penny in the corner. He'll then further it play forward with the relay bowled out, leaving Thief by himself. This will be a 1v4. And well, you can just continue to see the constant pre-fire. Not going to allow Thief to do that spike, and G2 will go up 4-1.
Yeah, it's one of those things where not only did G2 just get such a great pick at long A and then get into B early off of that read, but they kind of still always maintain an eye on C garage. And so they weren't bottlenecked into only playing post-plant from mid-window. Like, they still had that garage option if they ever needed it. It's also a big Oxy took down one with him at the back of the site. It looked like he was going to get pinched and he might be in some trouble. The fact he could take one along the way with him here with this frag was huge. It really helped ease the burden on the rest of G2 to finish the round off, as they now are up 4-1. A couple of alts on the table as well for them. Same could be said for BreakThru, who also still have a full buy here.
At least in partial. Missing some utility to afford the weapons. Also missing some armor, most notably. And Brock off the tag says it's time to go to Yuri. Oh, just Penny sliding away from it. Meanwhile, there's interactions happening over through C garage doors. That actually starts to favor G2 for a moment until Flya steps in, fills the gaps, and now the team shots punish G2 completely, leaving Dapper by himself.
That was kind of G2 leaving the discipline by the wayside and is looking to take some fights in garage, but Flya wins all of them, leaving Dapper all alone here to 1 versus 4. Spike not in his possessions, easily watched by BreakThru through the garage doors. But Dapper going to have a hell of a time trying to find his way into something. Drone comes out, actually gives him the space to get the spike, but can he escape? He does get the frag on the Flya. That's one man down. He's still got some time.
He's got a lot of time. And Brock will respect the clock, back away. So from a 1v4 to a 1v3, it really just comes down to Dapper want to go. Because obviously widespread of Haven naturally, it will force him into some isolated situations, and I like this proactivity from BreakThru. They were going to push through C long, figure that Dapper's not going to solo challenge into possibly stacks through garage, and they're going to take away some of the map here. The thing about this is, because Dapper's the one alive, all of his utility is still up. So he's going to get a read if they break through wire, which does get triggered, that he's got a flank to worry about, and then whatever else comes around the sides.
He's got a good lay of the land, but still the numbers favoring BreakThru in such heavy fashion. Going to be really hard for him to hold on to this.
No way.
Planning to play the long con, but, you know, they're kind of keeping tabs on that.
So to speak, I mean, they have to re-clear out B. If Dapper, in a well amount of time, he's got a good angle at this spike.
Top
or does he? Never mind, it's out on the corner too far.
Yep.
Okay. Cheeky.
My ult ready.
Respect it.
I love explosions.
I was really hoping he was just going to play B-Link after he planted. Because if he can get the 1v1 on Thief, all of a sudden he's in a 1v2 at Spike down and he's B-Link area. That could have been interesting. Tried to play the long con, but just didn't quite work out. Can't expect him to win those, though. Look at the alts BreakThru have now.
Yeah, for
Four
there.
very powerful alts in play for BreakThru to help them try to close the gap on the scoreboard here. G2, though, have been pretty in control the bulk of this game. That was just a one kind of rare occurrence where they decided to get a little bit trigger happy and kind of pay the price.
Oh, and hear about this. A fault line comes through, but Sim denied. Penny, concussed, stunned up, still finds first blood. I was about to say, long has been a point of contest for both teams from the word go. And this time, the proactivity from Sim shut down simply due to a placed headshot from Penny. Brock still trying to isolate. It does at least keep us into a 4v4, and the battle for A, at least on the long parts of it, continues.
Indeed it does. Owl Drone is not going to... Oh, never mind. Right at the end there, it did spot that Penny was deep, so they do have that information. That means that Fly can kind of keep tabs on that. Meanwhile, Brock's still trying to play sewers, but he's got low health, so he's very vulnerable. Has to be very careful here. They don't know what else is going on across the map. Again, the entire time, Whoopi's been keeping tabs on C. They've also had mid control for some time as well. But now here comes the regather at A. A great kill from Flya onto Penny.
I mean, G2 is just getting nothing for free here over at A. Still going to make the play forward with the last 3 remaining members. The defense is starting to back off a touch, and Brock is kind of no man's land at the moment. Trap wires the hurdle here if you're G2, so they can pretty much walk in freely.
Yeah, it's just such a strong retake available for BreakThru with that Rolling Thunder and with the man advantage.
Spike planted.
Spike planted just outside the Concept Divide. Defense setting up. Again, lots of ultimates they can use, most notably the Rolling Thunder. Both hands up for Flya. Lets it rip. Shazam tries to take away the angle, and actually the Nebula allows him a chance to kind of hold off this play a little while longer. Fly on the way through, blindly, mind you. Kind of bait for the entirety of the play. Allows the defense to start to make their way on. Dark cover blocking out would be for Nest's last star. Neural Theft is out, and Thief will take care of it. No worries, we're back to within 1.
Yeah, good job, though, using the grapple to get them off the spike initially and forcing them to burn that Neural Theft to figure out where he was to finish the job. So at least kind of keeping the ult economy in check, so to speak. That was 2 used by BreakThru. They still have 2 left. Penny gonna have his ult. The rest, though, just gonna be on full rifle buys. But we're starting to get to a close contest here. I mean, we've seen now kind of equal success taking place at A for both sides. And you're really liking G2's initial take there at A, but then Flya just reeled it right back in.
Yeah, I love this idea for you to continue to make sure that G2 tested here today. We've seen no action at C long whatsoever in these first 7 rounds. It's all a bit about trying to get a foothold over A. This time a different look at the spy cam offensively for G2 will kind of make sure nothing pushes defensively in towards A, as there will be an opportunity for Oxy to get a little bit further forward. That allows them some space through Garage, and the defense will have to flex to respond.
Again, it's the feints that G2 are throwing. They're denying intel at long A with the cyber cage of Dapper. They're pressuring Garage, and so they're making it a little bit difficult on BreakThru to have a full read of the lay of the land on these early round situations. With that said, they do have a very stout defense in place over on the A side of the map, but the timing could still wind up favoring G2 because they're all coming through long. They're not showing anything to Sewers.
Fast lane up, overdrive out, and how about that fault line? It may have concussed more than we may have seen off the overhead. Penny just hoping for something. Slides right into Thief. Relay bolt also down. Proto's a bit stuck in the corner. Good read of Proto! He still goes 1 for 1. As G2 breach on in toward the site. Brock, stop being planted. Good kill. Maybe an opportunity for the defense to still contest this completely, although they are in a 2v3. Sim, showstopper, calls it out, blindly, sends it over towards where the spike had gotten collected. Not going to connect for much, if any damage at all. And Dapper will go back to planting. Spam shots not going to land. Sim by himself. Would be a 1v3. 3 in the second. He has got an idea on where exactly this last player is. The underhanded paint shells. Oh, nearly completely connect, and they do. The final Blossom connects its ordnance on the Dapper, and it's a 1v3.
That is incredible from Sim. You think G2 has that in the bag, considering Penny grabs both the frags with this ult thanks to Dapper. Inside super positions, already gets 1 and Dapper gets the other for the trade, gets the Neural Theft. That means they have post-plant, 3v2, and they know exactly where those 2 players are, and they made him waste the showstopper, and he didn't get a frag with it. So in that situation, and they also got the frag on the Sova and Heaven as a spike display. This is a 3v1. Really dropping the ball, G2 there, but what an individual effort from Sim. I'm surprised Dapper didn't back off just a touch more to avoid that paint shell to keep the 1v1 alive a bit longer. So some finer details, I guess, being missed out on, but all in all, it leads us to this point now for all. Very close game here.
Still full purchases for both squads. We've got Barn Burner potentially on hand. Boombot allows Sim to make his way back forward. He just used the showstopper, mind you, and he's already almost got another one. He's 3 away.
That Boombot also lets them know that no one crossed while that
yeah.
cage was active for Dapper, so it kind of allows them to get away from that intel denial. Meanwhile, though, Oxy getting some very early garage control here at C. They've yet to ever press the issue with it once they get it, and this time around, Oxy gets darted, so he has to back away. Allows them to reclaim control here with Flya taking the window position.
Flya never takes a shot, so his defensive position, relatively so, stays concealed. And once again, G2, down to 50 seconds. Will collect the spike and make their decision. And BreakThru's getting a read on this as far as timing is concerned. I mean, they're throwing out some later utility, trying to catch one piece of information to give them a nod as far as where G2 wants to go. This time, they have not connected on anything, though.
Yeah, now they're kind of being forced to play a retake. This is what often happens defensively on Haven. When you don't get that early kill or early read, you kind of have to play for a retake somewhere. And it's going to be A yet again, which is a site that G2's had a lot of success taking. Last round, they dropped the ball, though, in the 3-on-1 post plant. Can they redeem themselves?
There's the overhead look as far as the post plan is set up. All four corners essentially being possessed. And now here comes Break. Paint shells deep. Not really going to land. Relay bolt delaying the inevitable retake attempt. Vault line in. Penny will be concussed by this. And how about the play where, oh my goodness, plays distraction, bouncing his way into the site, and it's Thief who follows up behind him. That is some selfless gameplay coming out of the Rays. But still, Whippy, a chance to still fight this off, 1v2. There's the gravity well to pull them off for the defusal, but they're stacked up together. The team shots will land. But oh my, I don't know if we still had an overhead of that. It would just be all of G2 turn trying to find Sim bouncing into sight.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, G2's had plenty of success taking map control and getting spike plants, but now they're starting to struggle on holding on to these sites, even in situations where they have man advantage. They are crumbling to the retake of BreakThru, and whether that be individual efforts, like when Sim won a 1 versus 3, or that round was a little bit more calculated with how they used their utility to grab the space back on site. Regardless, it's G2 find themselves 4 straight rounds in a row, getting spiked down, but being unable to finish the job.
Man. 4 straight retakes successful for BreakThru. That is an impressive stat line for them.
Absolutely. Look how tight the fragging is as well for both of these teams. Really,
yeah.
no one's leaping out or being a burden.
Well, just to kind of jut in, I mean, that's something that we've come to kind of expect in certain ways from BreakThru. Again, it's hard to say through one, even through qualifiers. Sure, Sim was statistically the best player as far as frag potential is concerned, but I mean, we had a full 5-man team effort like that. Is there anything on your mind saying, like, we're not seeing enough from Oxy to create problems for BreakThru, or is it still too early to tell?
Again, what's tough for me is that we're seeing G2 do a lot of really good things in the early round situation. Like, they're doing a good job grabbing map control, denying intel. You know, they're forcing BreakThru to have to play for a retake because they don't have the intel to, like, stack a site or put up, like, the initial defense. But they're just struggling to hold post plan at A. They've had, like, several shots at it. Even, I think 2 of them, they had at least a 1-man advantage, if not 2.
Yeah.
And they just haven't been able to hold these retakes.
Well, this time, knives will be out right off the rip for Roxy. Stingers. And a couple of rifles still in play. So a lot of firepower here for G2 against the wall financially. Sim trying to get out of there. He will get through. Boombot to cover his tracks, but that's garage control from G2. We'll see if Flyer wants to try to recontrol it.
Dapper all the way in here, and he's looking for more, and Brock has no clue. Literally no idea what Dapper could do to him. This is going to be such a brutal A split. It'll be the first time that they get it, and they have an instant man advantage, because Brock literally just... I mean, it's no clue.
Yeah.
The timing is unreal on that from Dapper. This is the first time he's done that. Remember how he slow-played A every other round.
It's also one of the first rounds we didn't see BreakThru put a lot of fight over towards A main.
Look at this from Oxy. This could be the insurance policy.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Found.
Oh boy. Oh boy. You kidding me? 4 from Oxy. Yeah. Slap the investor flawless up. That is just blank heaven from G2.
Yeah, it's one of those rounds where Dapper gets a godlike timing for the A split, and then Oxy sends into the barbershop. What you want today? It's going to be a fade to a 4 frag. No blade guard.
High and tight.
Ain't no guard on that.
No. I mean, that's one of those rounds that this is going to be one of those, for BreakThru, you just kind of have to laugh that off, right? Like, I mean...
Of course.
Whoops. Our bad.
You fool me once, shame on you.
Exactly, yeah.
You don't fool me again.
You don't fool me. You're not going to fool me again. Yeah.
Well, maybe they won't fool him, but they might out-frag him as Oxy's able to grab Flya down inside the sewers. And look at how rapidly they backpedal into a C hit. Asher utility clearing out platform and blocking off the back hall's rotation. This is so well calculated from G2.
Look at the slowdown, though, with the cyber cage setup. Paranoia is also going to be there. There's a chance for BreakThru still to fight against this, and boy, will they!
Down, C.
Proto and Thief have leveled the terms to a 2v2. Spike is down. That needs to be collected still. Shazam's at tremendously low health. And yeah, why not, Sim? Get on up and over. Right through, he gets both! Whoa! Fireworks here early in our final series of week 2.
And it comes back to the same thing. G2, a great initial early round exchange, gets the 5-on-4. They get onto C site with good utility. It seems like they should be fine. but somehow Thief is able to just slip back in, grab a double, and then it sets up Sim to finish the job. And it's a combination of BreakThru just being really good on these retakes, like hand over foot, but G2 is just missing some of those finer details they need to close out these rounds.
I agree. Oh, what a relay bolt.
Take flight.
That will connect on the most to BreakThru forces the Aldrin earlier than you'd like to follow. And that's actually going to, again, just continue to show this force between both teams. They really want to make sure no one gets through A long freely.
Yeah, that's a lot of utility that G2's burnt there, though.
For sure.
Just to get denied access to deep long A, which in the grand scheme of things isn't that big of a deal to G2 this early in the round. They also get a very good read on how much personnel is set up at A this early, which is giving them a little bit more comfortability to try to pressure the C garage area.
Thief is going to play double step box, teleporting up.
No scout to check it this time.
To watch it, yep, and here it comes. Flash on the way in. Also the one-way cage trying to help him out just a little while longer. Paranoia through, trying to teleport away, but Penny sliding in will open the door for G2. Drops the spike. That'll be for Dapper to put together. That's going to be a neural that four-hit, but the Hunter Sphere is going to push him off, and it also finds the kill Oxy. So now you wonder about the call for this, because Fly is still contesting this nearby. Aftershock's going to come through. We're down to 27 seconds on the clock, and Dapper still has not been able to confirm any sort of eliminations. Flya trying to get it done himself, but it's Brock to follow up. And once again, BreakThru good on their retake, although this time they deny the spike as well.
Yeah, they took it a step further that time around, not only retaking the site, if you will, but doing so before the spike can even be planted. And again, that was the name of the game. Throughout really the majority of this half is G2 would often win early exchanges and get set up, but they were only able to convert on about half of those instances. The other times BreakThru were able to, well, break through with these retakes. Whether it was individual efforts, like Sim had a 1v3 clutch on A. That round that you saw, you of course had the double up with the showstopper. Then you have a round where Thief pops off, and then you have that round there where Brock finishes the job. So they kind of got it from everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
To their credit, a well-balanced performance from BreakThru to have themselves a 2-round lead.
And this is where their film and study on G2's composition paid dividends, because the majority of the rounds that we saw for G2 to FaZe were G2 on the defensive side with this same comp. Quickly in towards C. And look at the watch of the flank. Oh my goodness, Proto has predicted this almost perfect. He's got a spy cam and a trap wire while he sits in spawn. Spike down. And honestly, if Proto can just find one, that'd be fine. There's the camera. Sees one on the cross. Could he get both? No, Oxy, good response, but it comes at a cost of a lot of life as G2's going into the 4v4 retake.
Yeah, and that aftershot's going to slow down the garage portion of this. Great flash just to block off the back calls as well as that shock dart, and they are getting frags. But G2 are battling through. Wow. How have they done this? They were getting eaten alive by shock darts and various other pieces of utility, but they still somehow win the duels from the back.
Dapper got 3 kills at like half HP.
That's so bonkers, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I'll say
I don't know how they battled through that, dude. I have no clue how they battled through that. Like, that looked like Dead to Rights BreakThru.
Well, here we are.
Yeah.
From off the plant, BreakThru are going to go double Sheriff into Stinger, so dropping the pistol, they're going to do the same thing that G2 did, force up, and give a battle to him here in round 14.
Man alive.
There.
What can BreakThru do with these 3 stingers?
Whippy's going to have an alarm system. Does he expect 3, though? Doesn't matter. He actually predicts it before the trap wire's even engaged. Now he's got help, and G2 have broken this down completely.
Yeah.
Great response and reaction out of G2.
Slight points taken away for trying to span the wall at the Spectre. Can't do that. So we will take a few points away, but it's still going to be an A-. And that's more than good enough. We're all tied up.
Wow, bro. This is a series here.
G2 on the bonus. Full buy up here from BreakThru. Of course, still too early for any alts to have any say in anything.
Sure. Well, the thing about this buy for BreakThru, as much as you've liked the weaponry, everyone's on light armor, so these Spectres and Guardians could be just as deadly 5 assault rifles you see on the other side.
That's a good point. Love this. Great use of utility to get Penny this deep. A proto. Did he?
Oh, yeah. I was gonna say, did he take damage? Sure did. Paint shells, though. Sim looking to kind of force something in the opposite direction. Whippy takes a lot of damage here as BreakThru still actually collect onto Oxy on the other side of the map. So now all of a sudden the pressure is on once again. BreakThru finding and fighting an entryway in towards C, but it's the flash that eventually pushes them off.
Uh-oh.
But Shazam still peeks that on the flank quickly behind this play. It's really just down to can Dapper hold the front door, tries to catch timing on the Aldrone being out. So now Penny has to do it all with the Stinger at long range. Brock holding the corner as he also collects for the spike.
Oh,
Those are
man.
difficult shots against Vandal.
That's so unreal. If Shazam just waits like a second longer for Penny to get into place, they absolutely rinse them, I think, in C Garage together with the crossfire. And they even had a chance to grab Brock while he had the drone out. I mean, talk about, I don't want to say comedy of errors, but just missed opportunities. BreakThru, meanwhile, getting the most of that. Of course, that was the bonus.
This goes here.
So not as much harm as most round losses would feel.
BreakThru can still put together a formidable arsenal here as well. It's just, you just hate going into rounds like this on half armor. And just like a free orb this time, there's really no contest at all for BreakThru after so much defensive pressure through a long. Offensively, they've given away a lot of space, just kind of yielding it over to G2.
Definitely a much different approach than what we saw from G2 that were always trying to be multi-pronged early. BreakThru trying to storm the gates at B early, it seems like. But Penny doing a pretty good job with these relay balls of stalling them. Yeah, like you said, great prediction. Not really a lot of damage being dealt just yet, though. They have held them off site for a very long time.
Still coming in, though. And Penny, how do you challenge this? Shazam's not going to read too much off the trail. They're guiding light just to kind of reconfigure. BreakThru have already bailed. This is a post-plant setup, not fully in window. More so, it's just from the front. Opening shot dart comes out. Oxy concussed by the fault line, but largely speaking, no consequence to his position up top, at least as of yet. But as Dapper drops over through Garage, the longer this takes for G2, the more you have to sweat this flank. Penny, good, decent response, but Sim's already here. And there's the reveal. Here comes Sim around the back. The pre-fire's in the way in. Sim gets one for free. Needs to get the second, but goes to the paint shells. Hold on a second. Now it's a 2v1 the opposite direction. Brock has to stop the defuse. Gets the first and the transfer for the second. And an eBay clutch the 1v2 for Brock. That's BreakThru go up.
They didn't get it done the way you thought they would, but they still got the result in the end. You really did think that this maneuver by Sim was going to be how they would come out victorious, that late flank through Garage to the post plant, but instead it was Brock with the spray transfer that dotted the I's and crossed the T's. But I'm sure BreakThru won't mind how the job gets done as long as it happens. And now they're up 9-7, starting to take control of the game a little bit here. Economy's starting to get a little bit low for G2. Good timeout here from them. This BreakThru is starting to approach double digits.
And there's some things to talk about, I think, if you're G2. I mean, like you kind of mentioned, hey, we expected to see both of these duelists like get aggressive on the defensive side. It's what was so successful for them. But they've been kind of held back a little bit. And most of that, it feels like, is off the back end of BreakThru saying you can have a little bit of that early control if you want it. We know that you're going to telegraph when you want to get aggressive on the outside of the map.
Yeah, G2, of course, pushing the extremities to get 8 orbs and things of that nature, but BreakThru are fine because they're able just to kind of gather up together, do kind of a standard B hit, and then they wind up being able to control Garage well enough to win out in the post plan as well. Sometimes all it takes is something simple to get yourself one step closer to the finish line. And of course, this time, they're up against a lot of ults from G2 and all that jazz, but they still certainly have the advantage in this one when it comes to firepower.
Absolutely. I mean, Knives to come out and Penny would have the opportunity to go into the overdrive if they wanted to, but largely speaking, when it comes to space, they don't really have that are going to be able to do that. Showstopper up and over for Sim. Little extra boost at the top as he nearly doubles up. Penny down to the overdrive, looking to stop this play at C-Long, but long range, BreakThru deny, and the kills go their way for entry.
Yep, Smoke and now Cage on the back halls allows reinforcements to get that spike down. They have a 4-on-2. And, I mean, there's really not a whole lot that G2 can do even with the ults.
No. But you give it a go if you're Oxy. There's the flash. Oxy on the way. And shock dart over the top. The spam is perfect. And the shock darts deny Shazam any further entry. I will say, this BreakThru team, their ability to convert the 3-9, 9-3 curse, whatever, against Oxygen, that was impressive in its own way. But this is a different BreakThru team in a short week. That's unreal.
Yeah, they look really polished on these attacks. There's no doubt about it. They seem to have the right timings. They're using their utility very well. Sim is, you know, taking the space exactly as he's supposed to be.
Who's there?
But now G2 back onto a full buy, including an operator on Oxy. So this is a different factor for BreakThru to have to deal with a defensive sniper. Haven't seen that just yet. But you feel like this is G2's moment. They have to make this round work.
I agree.
If not, they're back to low buying and BreakThru are right near map point.
Yep. Shock dart's trying to clear the way in front of this C-long play. Aldrun will confirm no forward defender. And that's enough for BreakThru. Oh, and they catch Oxy trying to reach out. A late hit. Dapper fighting back. Stack from G2 turns this into a 2-for-1 exchange. Nope, that's going to read a lot of this, and Dapper gets a little bit more extra work done before the Rolling Thunder comes through, which Flya will use the chance to keep the contest forward. Even beyond that, takes a second. Just down to Proto for 2. Penny low, Whippy nearly at full, but he gets the more healthy target. Now he's got a read on the second, and BreakThru continue to find clutch after clutch. Now up 11-7.
Oh man, it's one of those like analyst nightmare situations where on the one hand you want to give so much praise to BreakThru for that clutch right there at the end. Like that is bonkers that they win that round considering G2 get all these kills from the back hall's position. Yeah, they lose the entry, then they get all these frags. They don't really get too impacted by the Rolling Thunder, and they take a Flya down, put themselves in what should be a very winnable 2 versus 1, but a Proto just reels it in. And it just happened so many times now this game where G2 put themselves in advantageous positions in the end round, but they just cannot finish the job. And so again, it's my nightmare where I have to, you know, obviously praise BreakThru, but come on, G2, you gotta win these rounds. You gotta close.
Oh, now the fault line entering Sim in, but Dapper, who was also concussed, still is able to get one before dropping, so the quick hits from BreakThru are just keeping G2 in a complete nightmarish situation. Proto even lurking mid-map. Does not take down Penny, so that's a weapon upgrade now for the defense to try to play this retake 3v3.
They do have time, and they're able to get the heal up here onto Penny thanks to Shazam inside the B sites. Flank coming in long as well, but
oh
red
my goodness. Wow. And then the flash. Flya can do no wrong right now. His gut check call on his utility has been nearly flawless this offensive half, without question.
Yeah, for me, the jury was out on Flya for me last year with FaZe. Like, I saw some positives, but then we obviously saw some rough patches, and they ultimately kind of went away from him this year, you know, bringing Rossi on board. But he has certainly had his impact felt throughout the course of this map so many times, whether it be his utility or his raw fragging.
Flash out. Sim still pushing forward. And look at G2. They're already full flooding over. They're like, these guys are going to hit, and they're going to hit hard. Indeed the case. Trailblazers out. Flya's got a really good read in this. Aldrun will confirm some of the information. There's the fault line across. Aldrun also getting a tag, but Penny holds the line for the first kill. Hunter's Fury, now the next thing forward, but Shazam and Oxy continue to try to hold this defensive line. 3v2 situation favoring G2's deep. BreakThru not giving up a, but the opportunities are limited. And finally, G2 put something together defensively.
Indeed they did. They had the right rotation in the right place at the right time. Dodge some of the heavy utility of BreakThru for the most part and come out on top in the dueling. I guess better late than never.
Yeah, true.
If you're a G2 fan, but now they have to put that together 4 more times just to have a chance at Haven, just to put it into overtime. Meanwhile, you have BreakThru, 1 ult already on the board with the Proto, 3 other members 1 or 2 orbs away from it, plus they still have good economy.
breakthrough once again and trying to keep this in a different area. Boombot not as successful as you would have hoped for. Relay bolt will connect. Sim's going to actually just use that as a chance to get away. The Owl drone will clear out the top C window, though. So with that space gained, BreakThru may use this as kind of their base of operations to try to breach onto C.
Yeah, they're definitely putting a lot of pressure over through garage. They cleared the common camera spot that would be watching C-Link area. And so now they will just go ahead and pour in. Dapper playing more from the backside, but he's going to get stunned. It's rotations coming in, though, from Penny.
Yeah. Proto a little bit fast in his timing, trying to cut off the defensive rotation. So we go to a 4v4. Brock caught just to the fast line. Whippy following up, and Dapper's entire time will essentially be the linchpin for the defense's success. And Thief looking to kind of refocus the same route that a Proto took will not find any further success. We got ourselves a 12-9 ball game all again.
Yeah, it's just one of those situations where Dapper was always such a specialist at anchoring C with Cypher and just somehow always staying alive. Like, no matter what got lobbed at him, the man would just stay alive and buy time for rotations.
Yeah.
That's kind of what happens this round as well. Penny able to rotate into site to support him, and then they caught the other end of that split from BreakThru. What was meant to cut off rotations was instead taken apart by G2, and it's going to keep him in the game now. Low econ for BreakThru.
Yeah. To see G2 get to 10 cleanly if you're a G2 fan here. Vault line once again set up this time. Pit Shells trying to get the damage done. Dapper's going to be caught trying to assist, and they'll go one for BreakThru still on the approach, though. Recon Bolt will get some confirmation that Penny is nearby, but the pistols land. And now it's just down to Penny inside the site, who can only do good for one. Spike collected, should be a quick plan afterwards. And for G2 defensively on this retake, it's Shazam and Oxy. They're going to go quickly. Shazam trying to follow up Oxy, the first one forward. They go 2 kills. Seekers will be called. They will not fully connect, though. Proto on 6 HP. Playing around the corner, shows an elbow. And now Shazam's got the high ground. That cape continues to flutter back and forth. Flash goes out. Proto holds his ground. Shazam in the corner.
No!
Oh, it's a thrifty that gets it done for Proto. What a snap!
Oh my god, how does it just happen again and again and again? I feel like BreakThru must have won every 1vx situation this game, it feels like, man. Like, it starts with this one, 1v3 for Sim. Then there's several more clutches along the way, and then it finishes with, I think Proto had multiple clutches this half, actually. Not just that last one, but he had one earlier as well, a 1v2. I mean, goodness gracious, man.
Do you think he's feeling a little bit sassy now that he can play Cypher?
Brock has a 1v2 clutch right there. We see that one. It's just so many clutches from BreakThru.
Unreal, man.
Here's the one I was talking about, the 1v2.
Yeah.
And then he ends it with the 1v1. Goodness.
Unbelievable.
And it wasn't just one guy doing all the clutching. It was like all of them doing it. Sim once, Brock once, a Proto twice. Actually, it was Sim twice, a Proto twice, Brock once. God, dog, man.
Holy.
That's a tough one if you're G2 and you go back and you watch that, because again, you feel like you did so many things right. You just could not button it up at the end round situations. Meanwhile, if you're BreakThru, you're loving it, man. Because you battled tooth and nail with G2 through it all. So many good retakes in the first half. Redonkulous clutches in the second half. What a game, dude.
Got to know they're feeling pretty. You're absolutely right. We'll bring Tanner back about the analysis of map 1 and then also keep the focus moving forward. We got a series on our hands, friends and family. We'll step away. We'll be back with all the breakdown and setup for map 2 right after this.
Yo, check it out. Want to know if the price of those Wave Runners is too good to be true? Or if I Wear My Kicks 49 is truly selling dead stocks? Or if that Jordan 1 Royal Box is original? eBay checks. See that little blue check mark? Behind it is a team of independent authenticators who check. And we mean everything. Every tongue, check. Every toe box, check. Every corner of every box, check, 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 check. Every logo, every label, every lace loop. Yeah, it's checked. The luster of the leather, the topography on the tags, to the straightness of the stitching on the sole. Everything you can see, and even some things you can't.
Really?
Then they tag them, log them in the system, box them up, and ship them out, with no cost for the buyer or seller. eBay checks, so the moment you open that box is as real gets.
And we are back one map into our last series of the day here for the Knights Arena Valorant North America Challengers. Split number 1. It's G2, it's BreakThru, and Shift. Holy, what a game that you guys just had the pleasure of casting. 13-9, the way of BreakThru, the upset potential. It's here, it's in our hands. We just have to not fumble it, right?
I mean, a lot of people out there were saying G2O, but I'm telling you, man, this BreakThru team, they showed us something last week in their different 3-9 comebacks. I mean, it takes a lot to not just do that once, but do it twice and then win back-to-back overtimes. It's like, all right, this team is for real. Just comes down to can they game plan better right off the rip. We got our answer. I mean, the back and forth affair that we had in the first half, he's somewhat surpassed by the opportunity for BreakThru to kind of show those 5 rounds of defense in a row. The post-plant conversion from BreakThru also sublime, which is a great step up from last week. And then, of course, it all being capped off with the Thrifties, just, you know, the candles on the case then. So, I don't know, man. And this BreakThru team, they're looking like they are for real, not just because of all the reasons we mentioned at the top, but when you've got the ability to share the load like this team does, it makes life feel so much more comfortable. I mean, they technically, I think, got almost out-fragged in this matchup. It still came out on top just due to the fact that they were able to put together those clutches and obviously just show us the continual resilience just in a different way this week.
Bro, it was just Oprah Winfrey out there handing out clutches to everybody in the studio audience. And the studio audience happened to be the entire BreakThru roster, bro. You get a clutch, and you get a clutch, and you get a clutch. Bro, everybody's out there clutching. Sim had a 1v3. Then he had that double kill with the showstopper. That's 2 clutches. A Proto had 2 different clutches in the second half, 1 to finish the game, and then 1 other 1 versus 2. Brock had that crazy 1 versus 2 at middle on a post plant on the B site. Like, it was just... It's like G2 just couldn't win, bro. It's like every time that they did all the right things in the early to mid-round portion, when they were trying to, you know, go ahead and kind of just sign the dotted line for this round. You got it, buddy. The deal's yours. Someone from BreakThru would live up to the team name and just hop in there and just RKO the round into oblivion, and all of a sudden it's BreakThru winning 13-9. Like, it was just insane how many just like late round situations that BreakThru were able to come on top of. And some of it was shown in the last graphic when you're talking about post plants, but it's also just how they were able to steal rounds away from G2 right underneath their noses.
So now with this dust, okay, so now that we've seen the first map between these two teams, we kind of talked about the experience behind G2 and what they bring to the roster. It's not just the firepower, but then when you look at these stats and you see that G2 were +6 in first bloods, they lose the game by 4 rounds. They're also losing these clutches 1v1s, 1v2s, 1v3s, whatever it is. Do you think that just between these two teams, that it is that fragging power that is separating them, that they are on the same level of macro, and we saw a way better micro here from BreakThru?
That's a tough one, man. I honestly thought that G2 did look like the superior team for a lot of that game. Like, just if you think about all of the early and mid-round situations, like G2 on attack were surgical as far as actually taking map control, setting up their executes, getting on the sites, getting plants, you know, having post-plant situations where they had numbers, but they just could not stop the retake. There was like, what, 4 straight retakes in a row, I think, from BreakThru in the middle of the first half to bring that one back in. Then you bring in all the clutches, you bring in all the crazy shenanigans that BreakThru were coming through with. And it's one of those things where, like, I thought the fragging was pretty tight through most of the game. Like, I think when we got to the halfway point, it was like the top fragger on the server had 10 kills, and I think the bottom was like 5 or 6 or something like that. So I don't know that it comes down to raw fragging. I just think that when it came down to like those late round chaotic moments, BreakThru were on point, man.
Yeah.
Like, they found a way to brave through the chaos in ways that G2 couldn't.
Yeah, the overall kill numbers by 2 total kills favors G2, just kind of looking over the final stats and doing the quick maths on it. But it's where the fragging came from and at what times for BreakThru. That's the biggest thing, because honestly speaking, if you were to go and evaluate the double duelist composition for G2, it was pretty successful. I think that to be said, though, when G2 was on the offensive side of the map and we saw BreakThru throwing a lot of utility to try to keep the Bay of a long kind of in their hands, it denies space for that Neon and that Jet to really kind of explode on towards site. You're forced them to have to do it over towards C, which is catering, putting it towards Proto's direction. So I think the idea and the game plan for BreakThru was just really well formed.
I gotta tell you one thing. Here's another big difference maker. Flya, 16 assists.
That's big. Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, just the amount of times he was able to break things back open with his flashes, with his aftershocks, with his fault lines. Not only was he one of the best fraggers on the team that round, he was 2 frags behind Thief for top frag position in the server, but he was just a part of every moment, man. Like, just so much setting up teammates, so much, you know, shutting G2 down in the late round, like, was just bonkers on Breach.
Well, we'll see if it continues, right? We're headed out towards Ascent. It's a map we've seen BreakThru play before. We have no idea what to expect coming from G2. And this is it. This series, but most importantly, this map for BreakThru would cement them as first place coming out of week 2. And the players are ready. Agent Select is ready. So, gentlemen, take it away. We'll see if G2 can come back and push us to a map 3.
I mean, hey, because on the other side, if you look at it from BreakThru's POV, just be better from the offensive half, right? Like, you put on 9 straight rounds worth of defense that got us to that overtime in the first place, but only finding 3 attacking rounds, considering their comp, was definitely a letdown. So I would anticipate they're probably going to keep running it back, run the exact same thing here, and just see if you can just improve upon some of those executes, because they did successfully, as I'm looking back over the stats, they had 5 successful plants on offense, just didn't hold any of their post plants. They were 0 for 5 on post plants.
That is wild stat, 0 for 5 on post plants. Yeah, you just can't have that happen if you're G2. And now they come into a map Ascent, which we have not seen them play yet, right? I mean, again, they didn't take part in any off-season events. Their matchup against FaZe, this map was not played. So really kind of just flying blind as a spectator as far as what to expect from G2. As far as BreakThru goes, I mean, you already kind of discussed their comeback that they were able to have against Oxygen in the first week on this map, winning it in overtime. But it was a consistent map for them throughout qualifiers as well. Like when they were playing against Cosmic Divide and or Esports and the Nation and Wreckaroo and so on and so forth to get them to this point. Ascent was their top 2 maps next to Haven.
Yep,
so
7-0 on it.
They're going to feel right at home here. And they have the official results to back it up. Whereas G2, it's all going to be based on how comfortable you were in scrims and how much you've been able to scout BreakThru through their run through qualifiers and such to see if you have the right counters for them.
Agreed. Only difference in composition comes out of the choice of Sentinel. Of course, everyone and their mom knows that a Proto's going to run the Cypher, but Dapper will opt into the Killjoy instead. G2 on the opening defense. Pistols for BreakThru have not been stellar, but the statistic was improved to the last map. A chance to possibly do a little bit more here with this early threat towards Zay. Sentry turret denied. Star is down, and that's just for a Nebula. So now BreakThru on their way in. As actually First Blood is collected. Sim did not have a lot of help behind this. Now Penny can get to work, and yeah, the utility is very well layered. G2 will hold for now. Grab his Proto, and no problems there. G2 take the pistol.
Yeah, it's like BreakThru were just trying to force the issue at A despite all the utility that was being lobbed at them in the entryway. And it's like every time they would kind of gather themselves back up, another piece of utility would come flying in from G2 to disrupt them, and one of those last flashes from Penny really kind of finished the job, got him a couple of frags, and kind of wrapped that one up. So you are going to see, of course, G2 go ahead and grab up a few SMGs, a Bulldog, and an Ares on Shazam. Again, as you were kind of already talking about, the compositions are about what you'd expect for both teams.
Yep. And no force buy this time for BreakThru, although they will opt into 3 upgraded pistols to Sheriffs. Shazam will get a lot out of the shot. Recon to follow. The Ares will not provide any further damage as the Sheriffs continue to try to hopefully battle through the walls.
Obscuring vision.
G2 showing force towards Wine, but back away, and everything will reset to 5-5.
It's actually wild to me that we're like, what, in year 3 of Valorant?
And people still try that?
No, that people still don't know what the heck that animal is on the wall.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying people still try to get the pistol headshots.
Well, that too, but I still have no idea what that thing is on the wall.
Not a
would be.
clue.
Not even roughly a clue. What are your thoughts out there, viewers?
I've always tried to lean toward. Like, it's more. It's like
It's not a dog.
It's not a dog.
Definitely not a dog.
It's like a cow with a small tail.
That is a
with
messed
man
up looking
feet.
animal, dude. It makes no sense at all. I don't understand.
Me neither. Knife it. BreakThru tried to work their way into the. That's about what happens at the bullet hose.
She stands like, I want the ace. He runs to his own teammate. He wants the ace so bad. That's a man that's hungry for an ace, bro. That's all I can tell you, man. He just all logic out the window. He needed that 5th kill somehow, man. Oh no, he got cooked.
That's
Oh, the
funny.
greed. The greed got him.
Oh man, palpable.
It's all
to say
good
the
though.
least.
Yeah,
It is
it's
all
you know, it matters very little in the grand scheme of things, but still worth a chuckle.
Love it. So now the bonus: SMGs with 1 Guardian, full rifles, and for the most part, a lot of utility also purchased here for BreakThru. So they are mostly on light armor. A lot to spend here coming into round 3. Sim very quickly going to establish some mid presence.
Love it. Big fan.
Yep,
Talk about it all the time.
sure do.
Oh.
And how about that?
See you later. Right between the eyes. That's gonna pretty much open the floodgates on
Oh yeah.
a huge B push that all this Killjoy utility is all for naught now.
Oh yeah, Shazam is completely trapped in the back. Nowhere for him to go. Oxy with a couple of taps off the Guardian has also given away his position. The only question marks are the last 2 G2 members, which are still deciding if they want to come back to the market or try to hit something off the flank for exits. That is a conversation that is still ongoing, apparently. You have to figure that in this situation, G2 will likely try to just play for exits, and well, they're not even getting the chance to. Good reveals coming out, and flawless, an investor flawless at that for BreakThru on the board.
Good first step. Want the weapons in their hands on the attacking side. I hope to see them continue to keep that mid control, because again, that just keeps all your options open on the attacking side. You can just be so dynamic if you're able to establish mid control early in the game, because then you can pivot later on into just like full extremity hits or splits of any kind. Like, it just really lets you set a nice foundation down. So it's good to see that come out early. Obviously got more than he probably thought he was with that blinder of a shot on Dapper. Led to a pretty easy B attack, but now the full buy is out for G2, and so we're all even.
This time Oxy will just kind of hold mid-market ground. Star placement, just used to collect the star back. Knife also will reveal Sim's position.
Ooh.
Largely nothing to come of it. It's still, again, all this damage through the walls that's largely been the biggest factor early for both these 2 teams.
Yeah, this time it's Brock dealing it with the Odin there through the wall, taking Shazam down to 75 HP. No armor on him anymore either. Mid pressure once again coming in. Smoke comes up, blocking Oxy's vision. Sim does back down, however, but just the mere thought that he could pressure market like that is keeping Oxy so interested at middle, and it's potentially going to allow them to have an easier A split here.
Sim's going to come.
Oh, the timing!
Yeah, not great. Flash will still come through. Penny, he's still deciding to work his way into this gunfight. I mean, he's got a little bit of assistance with him, but Sim will essentially break through. Oxy left to his own devices, and nearly, I think all of us saw maybe a 3K coming through with how they lined up there at the end, but Spike collected. Proto's going to get the plant. He is by himself. The Brock is nowhere near this site. And the first shots land. Neural Theft will reveal the second. And here comes Brock. It's committed down low, and Proto doesn't need the help. Of course he doesn't. I mean, did you watch anything from first map? Goodness.
It's like, remember all those clutches I was doing last map? I'm doing them again!
Yeah.
Just a brilliant use of Neural Theft at just the right time there. Also, dude, I feel bad for Penny because the man blinds everyone at tree, and his crosshair couldn't have been more perfectly in between the 2 targets.
Yeah, true.
Not on either one, and just gets rinsed from that position, and a little bit of a back and forth affair after that. But in the end, Proto wins out the 1v2 clutch, and that's going to tie things up and put G2 on low econ.
Can they make it punishing, though? Defensively, not doing anything super different, to be honest.
No.
Well, Whippy just caught an off angle. Null command spent as soon as the orb was collected. Sim on the way in. Oxy with pistols. That will be a plant. You are largely trying to recontest this through heaven. Sim could get point of contact here as soon as the nebula drops. You still hear Oxy trying to chip away. The Owl drone will be the first thing forward. Knife will suppress. Sim up top revealed, but he could have been anywhere. And G2 will at least gain some presence over towards the Raptors.
Yeah, Sim didn't overstay his welcome, which is a very smart move. Now the shot dart's going to come in and start chipping away some damage. Oxy's already pretty low, all things considered, and yeah, they obviously don't have much firepower to spend.
Aggressive?
That was a little odd.
Yeah, I'll say.
Didn't like that.
Still would be hard-pressed to figure G2 break their way back into this, especially considering the health
That
nearby.
seems so effortless from Flya just now. Just
Sure
what
does.
a crazy display of aim.
Wow, dude.
Again, I was always kind of on the fence on Flya during his phase days, but he has been crushing it for BreakThru this season, no doubt about it.
And just, again, we have the benefit of, we were obviously intently watching this 9-3 comeback that happened for BreakThru versus Oxygen on this map. But I'll go ahead and say it. I'm impressed with the improvements that we've seen from BreakThru, especially considering the side. I mean, all of these rounds have been winnable.
Mm-hmm.
So pending they don't lose the next 7, we've got a different look.
Once again, Sim looking to penetrate mid early here, and he is taking it very deep this time, all the way to defensive spawn. Oxy has an idea, does spot the elbow there, gets the read, but knowing's half the battle. The amount of control that BreakThru have because of this is huge, but Oxy decides to push forward and grab the pick. That is certainly a massive move.
And the timing for that was trying to get Sim around the back as soon as the hit from the front came through, but now with that completely shut down, this G2 defense inside and around the A zone, over the B part, the B site is really locked in. Brock gets some work done with the Odin. But how do you get the rest of your help forward here? I mean, it's just down to if Thief can work his way into the site, and G2 are going to try to take away space. Oh, is it too greedy, though? Brock on the staircase nearly gets a double, and it would have created some space and time to try to work further, but G2 overwhelmed with their numbers, and we stay locked 3.
Yeah, it's BreakThru doing a good job of pushing middle, but Oxy equally a good job holding that position down. And then Penny from the back of B doing some wonderful work here. He was certainly being pressured from multiple fronts. His support was kind of cut off by the smoke at back halls, but he stood firm. Got the numbers he needed, and the Shazam finishes the job there. Gonna keep us at 3 apiece and 4 ults on the table for G2. Looking like they want to try to start steering out in front here. Oxy looks up aggressive middle and reads it. What a read, dude. What a read.
Oxy got tagged.
Yeah. But such a great read to have the crosshair in the right spot to be able to play the top box position if he's there.
Wow. That is a very important first blood. But it's immediately countered. Flya just steps in towards where Sim had previously been a major threat and eliminates the operator on the eye. You also got to keep in mind that Brock, still with an Odin, could do some work offensively to try to spam down any defense, but the spike has been collected and is still lingering through mid, if not over towards tree completely, where, to be fair, G2 do have a pretty solid setup. Thanks, observers, for that look.
Yeah, the Owl Drone pressures B, but it doesn't cause really any rotation. As you said, the Killjoy utility is aplenty on this A side of the map. Kind of being bypassed, though, as we're seeing the window push. Now, Whippy is wise to it, but again, knowing is only a part of the battle. Now it's all on Dapper to hold. He gets his one, he gets out of the site. That's huge for setting up the retake.
Yeah, because it's the spike down, so this is going to give his teammates a second. Over wants to guard the lockdown, but denied. So now BreakThru can destroy it and get well into their merry way of trying to get on for a quick plant. Penny trying to further contest over through Garden. It's just the flash, though, looking to delay it. Keep your eye on Shazam. Hunter's Fury at the ready. The defensive Sova could get behind this play. 13 seconds. If they get a prediction where this is going to get planted at, they may be able to stop this completely, but they're not going to go into the early Hunter's Fury. Spike planted, and as Shazam drops, it all comes down to Penny.
And he's red.
Yeah.
He's been detected by that recon. No one under heaven He'll know that from the knife, but it's not going to be enough. He's decided to grab this operator and save it and give the round the breakthrough. Again, just such a brilliant entry by going to window and grabbing the player on top heaven. Again, Whippy kind of had a read, but still just lost the fight.
Yeah.
Good thought by Dapper to just get his kill and get out and drop the lockdown, but they ran him down, broke their lockdown, and it's over with at that point. BreakThru just looking so well polished.
Oh, yeah. It's a lot of just great reactions, and the decisions that are being made are largely correct. As Penny will not be allowed to take the operator to the next round. The chase from BreakThru is good. Break the stalemate for now, but that's some pretty significant punish to what G2's kill potential looked like in this round, having to really just default on the knives and the Hunter's Fury.
And honestly, this is some of the most impressive that Fly has ever looked, I feel like. Like, I'm sorry, when he was actually on phase, he struggled, man. He really did, but he's not allowed that to deter him in his career. He's been able to, use this offseason, apparently really improve himself and put some good players around him to be on this BreakThru squad, and he has been lights out this series.
Yep. Let's see. Oh, Sim's going to want that one back.
Yeah. Definitely a missed opportunity there.
There's no way Sim was going to get red from that position. So now you go into a normal 5v5. Defense to reposition a little bit, not really finding the success they wanted to break through the long A side of the map. At least they control it, so if BreakThru want to make a play to A, they will have to use utility to re-clear. Or so you think.
Starting to gather up here on A lobby. Just that one Astra Star on the doorway will be used as a smoke. And there is a good rotation here from Oxy. So the numbers are here for G2. Enough so to maybe even swap BreakThru all the way back. They're starting to second guess this.
And Sim's going to commit to the op play in towards A main.
Right here.
It's taking a lot of time.
It is.
And the further the clock goes down, the more advantageous G2's position becomes because they're still 4-man stacked here at
30
A.
seconds left.
It really just comes down to if Penny can find one, that may win the round. And he will get one. So it's a one-for-one position. Op not going to land for a second time for Sim. Whippy holding on the angle. Shots are starting to land for BreakThru, though. They actually cleanly work through. It's Brock with the Odin who entries. Great heavens to that. And now it's down to Dapper and a Classic, and the window's been missed again by G2.
Yeah, it really just comes down to Brock doing the heavy lifting, quite literally, because I'm sure that Odin is packing a few pounds, but also just the amount of frags we put on the board that round.
Yeah.
Definitely even after some missed opportunities, right? Like, you feel like Sim had some chances to, like, really just put the round away, but the op at multiple periods missed a couple of those chances, but BreakThru kept their composure. Brock comes through on the trades at Tree, and at the end, it's still BreakThru ahead 5-3, so no harm, no foul.
Nope, none at all. And a couple of the key tools here, in particular the null command, which you saw Flya trying to get the orb last round, maybe trying to earn it in case they needed it for that last offense. Now has a bit of benefit as the smokes will be encompassing most of mid, and it's a quick hit. It's a 4. Null command is going to be here. BreakThru's just going to run right through this, take care of all the Killjoy utility, and try to isolate this defense. And so far, it's working out okay. Pre-fire from Petty. The only thing standing in their way, and that's not bad. The first kill comes through, but now Proto lurking through mid. Neural Theft earned off the kill. We'll be able to turn that in, no problem. And,
No,
well,
they didn't get
this
Whippy,
is
though.
Forward!
Oh, no! The Neural
Wow.
Theft showed Whippy. They still couldn't get the frag, and G2 come out on top.
I'm just surprised they continue to push through into the defensive spawn right there.
It's like they wanted to try to use the Neural Theft to their advantage and just get spammed through the Nebula, and that's why they kept trying to push the back halls, but it winds up completely backfiring. Whippy never goes down. Instead, G2 just rents him. Unbelievable, because that was such a strong take from BreakThru as far as, like, maneuvering goes, but, man, did they fall short on the fragging at the end.
I was hard ready to read that they were going to hit the Neural Theft and then just commit forward to taking care of Shazam outside Arches, because he was the only defender left to be.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe
Good
just feeling
surprise.
the confidence.
Oh, here we go.
Spike down A.
Little set piece from G2, getting the gravity well into first blood. May not be done yet, but no, Oxy will get nothing more.
Yeah, Spike recollected. But Whippy trying to slip into wine, and while he gets detected, he'll still get his man. Getting some help now as well from Penny and company. Meanwhile, Shazam shutting down the B front of this attack. And all of a sudden, G2 starting to show some prowess. Of course, we knew it was always there. It was always possible.
Sure, yeah.
It's just not been there all the time this series, if we're honest. Especially in the late round.
Okay. BreakThru, do you try to do anything with this? Maybe try to find a kill that could lead to them making a decision for it, but you have to feel like for the majority of this, especially now,
Spike down A.
that this very well may just be play for kills. Protoss collected the spike though.
30 seconds left.
Penny nearby, Oxy on the corner, but this would be one for the record books. Not going to come through 2 convincing rounds for G2 back and forth.
Yeah, really well done to keep themselves in the race here, not allow BreakThru to pull too far ahead. Just a brilliant little set piece there on a lobby. Shazam just individually holding it down the other side. And now we're all square at 5 apiece. Still a full buy available here for BreakThru, but they're pretty far off in all except for Brock.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, 2 ults available for G2, including a couple very powerful ones for retakes.
Lots of BreakThru utility once again over towards mid.
I like that
Nice
combo they went
recon.
for there.
Me too.
The recon into the sim jump. Just no one home to receive it. And he gets started now and has to fall back. Oxy.
Have to respect it.
I mean, he's got to try, right?
Yeah,
You got to shoot
absolutely.
your shot, but Sim's not going to allow it. He's obviously going to cower in the corner away from that. Quick pivot into an A-split, though. Look at this.
Sure is. Fragments predicted it, though. Penny's going to hold this off a little while longer. Offense now making its way forward, but Oxy's already in the cloudburst. 100 Fury to follow. Although the shots don't necessarily land, it's Shazam who's getting all the work done. Second kill comes through. Penny hearing the reload, steps forward into Fly, and G2's defense start to really come through in the thick. Just down to Thief. This would be a 1v4. He has an opportunity for it. Goodness, that's just got way too close for comfort again.
Oh, the ghost of Haven Past almost haunting them right there. I mean, it was looking a little scary for a moment if you're a G2 fan, but they do get the job done, and that's all that matters with 1 round left to go here in the half. Everyone's still able to full buy. Oxy even has the operator. He has not really had it very much defensively, I don't think, for G2. This might be the first time, actually. I know Sims had it a couple of times with the attack, but yeah, Oxy's going to get his hand at it here.
And it's going to be just him watching mid. Knife out. Starts out. That will just take a little bit of a tickle onto Brock. Second one's going to hit a little harder, though, you think. Yeah, and Brock's a little bit more hindered. Just a touch. Recon bolt out. Oh my goodness, the reveal is insane. And Shazam is going to work. Nanoswarm to stop the inevitable hit. Sim over the top, though, actually gets around Shazam. How does that little slide off the rooftop happen? BreakThru take 3 kills, and with that, they also win the site.
No way in heck, man. Sim winning an X Games gold medal in the middle of a match right now of Valorant. As the spike goes down at the back of B, and they have a 3v2 post plant because of it. And now they get to put a Cosmic Divide down to make this retake even more difficult. Wimpy gonna add his own there at the back end, and it's gonna be a wild ride on the site in just a moment with all these walls up and stars down.
And null command, double flash, fragment, all of the utility kit for Penny available. There's the first flash. Null command's out. It has to be won by the weapons. Whippy gets the first. And Flya looks away because of the flash, and that's enough for Penny and Whippy to take all 3 cleanly. Oh,
You're
that
kidding.
was a breakdown.
You're kidding. I can't fathom how they got that fooled by that. That's, oh man. What a crazy match this has been, and what a wild end to the half there. A little bit of everything. A very good start from BreakThru. I think they were up 5-3 at one point.
Yeah.
But then we had the comeback from G2. And eventually they even wind up taking the lead before we switch sides.
Wow, dude. It's just the great utility usage from Penny, right? I mean,
yeah,
that last round looked good as gold for BreakThru.
Especially with Sim making such a crazy entry move.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I cannot believe that. I thought that was going to be 6-6 for sure. Thought they had it.
we've learned anything about this series, though, Dust,
You don't know anything.
Anything can happen at any moment in time.
Yep. I'm just about as good as any Redditor right now on calling the shots around here.
One suppressed.
Relatable. G2's pistol right into Flya's direction. Flya actually gets one very cleanly. The forced play forward. Flya's going to get way more than that. Oh, goodness.
That might be the fastest investor flawless you've ever seen.
It is.
Just dunzo in the blink of an eye. And that gap on the scoreboard is quickly closed. Stingers out, of course, for G2. That's still very much to play in these second round situations. Obviously, that nerf's on the way for week 3 after we take a bit of a couple of week break for lock-in.
It goes here.
This game.
I am mad jelly. I wish I was there.
Yeah.
Brazil's a great spot, bro.
Never been.
Been once. The DreamHack event back in the day. The Caprinas were flowing.
Were they? Flowing like waterfalls, eh? I would say color me surprised, but I'm not surprised in the slightest.
You
It
shouldn't
didn't
be
take
surprised
first
at all.
blood
No.
for Tree. G2 still
Do
gonna stay
recommend to all the
aggressive.
talent out there, if you're of age.
BreakThru keep collecting. Just dropping one in the process. Just a hard press round for G2. Who did nice shots from Proto. But G2 still have a chance to lock this in. Spike's gonna get planted. Both members will be bunkered up into the site itself. BreakThru looking to contest, and Penny, who tried to force it a little bit further forward, leaves it just down to Whippy. Could get it done. This could shoot through the boxes, but it's Thief who collects the headshot. And with that, a little extra to get us tied at 7.
Lead doesn't last for long in these parts.
No,
Not
they
the way
don't.
these two teams have been playing. This has definitely been one of the most action-packed games we've seen in Challengers so far, I feel like, throughout these last couple of weeks.
Without question.
Just, it's been so hard to read as well, just because every time you think someone's got the edge, every time, like, the facts seem to line up for one side, someone pulls out a curveball and changes everything. And it's really just been these clutch situations in the end rounds that have made the world of difference, and this time around, unlike Haven, we're seeing kind of an equal distribution of who's pulling them out.
So after the forced last round, G2 will only be able to vest into Stingers again with light armors. This is still a risky call. I mean, maybe you catch BreakThru off guard saying they should be on pistols here, but this is going to hinder some of the economy of players like Oxy in particular, who is going to get revealed by this trap wire. There's another one in front of him. This is, again, going to slow things up a little bit longer. I can respect the idea. G2 looking to follow up, though. Do at least tally one kill. Brock has stayed concealed. No one has seen him. And he may catch Shazam for free. Yeah, that's well done. Anticipated more, but runs into Penny. Didn't expect that. And with it, G2 will get the plant.
Now BreakThru at least have the read that one's there. However, they can try to isolate these battles on site with this flash and with the number superiority. And indeed, they will catch Whippy blind. They know Dapper's in the back. They're going to run him down, but Dapper grabs his man. Penny able to set in behind now because of it, and it's all on Thief. 1v1.
Fragment gives him a little bit of time to reposition, but Thief checks the angle. Doesn't see him there. Now, should have seen him over the top of the box. I'm sure his teammates just called that out. So now he has to toggle. Penny calling his bluff.
Stone cold.
Thief has to try to toggle again. Penny says, nope, not interested.
Oh my.
Now he's trying to get the pre-fire. Talk about nervy. And how about that from Penny? Oh my.
Just wasn't buying it today. I mean, every sales pitch got thrown his way, but he kept his wallet in his back pocket.
Man.
Brock was feeling so good after that, and then instantly regret. Just getting caught inside lobby.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. This game's had a little bit of everything, but it all shakes down the BreakThru now. The ones on the back foot, just Sheriffs against the full buy of G2.
Interesting look here. BreakThru going to try to get a little bit of mid-presence. The knife will actually respond and reveal 2 players deep. So now all of a sudden, if you're G2, you have to be worried about any potential mid-stack that could possibly be threatened by it. So they're going to use utility to clear.
Yep. Only really cost them 1 flash to clear this area back out, though. Not a big deal. They also put the recon up, and Sim now slides out, catches one. A huge frag for free. It slows everything on down. They're repositioning heavy B, which is actually the wrong call for them, unfortunately. But they could still play retake, perhaps. Thief also could catch one on the off angle.
Not to be. G2 still has to be a little bit curious, though, to see if there's any further defenders forward. Flash is out. Null command also spent. G2 would learn that this was a vacant site. It comes at a pretty steep cost, though. So now you look to the other side of things. Brock's got his recon bolt back. He's got double shock darts.
Yeah, no, about Shazam,
your pistol shots.
Now they do. Shazam given away, but he still catches Sim anyway. Flyer, though, with the quick trade. That's a rifle now that goes over to BreakThru on a street take, 3-on-3.
Cosmic Divide in for the offense. G2 trying to lock things up. Brock not able to get the shock dart into place. So here comes BreakThru. Recon Bolt will get them forward. It's a double stack in hell for G2 with Penny at very low HP. And he will fall very fast. Dapper nearly gets the trick down to Whippy. He's going to be suppressed out by the fragment. This is going to get Brock likely to halfway, but the gravity well will deny, and time will favor Whippy in this 1v1. Has to throw the shoulder. Clean kills. And a little bit of space now. Cushion of 2 rounds goes to G2.
Yeah, it's just tough. You're Brock. You think maybe you can pull something off because you haven't pinned at wine with the fragment, but again, those grab wells are just so annoying, so pesky to deal with in the post plant.
Enemy kill.
Again, BreakThru making every round hard, though, for G2. Nothing's gone easy for this team this series. It's all come down to the wire each and every time. And now BreakThru are on to the full buy, including an op for Sim defensively. This is a critical moment here for G2. This would be a big round win to get to try to really set the pace this half.
Yeah, hard to agree to that.
Meanwhile, if you lose, you're probably saving. It's probably a tie game, 9-9.
Yep.
You should run.
Okay. Lockdown in early. Aldrone being held on will let that fly. And BreakThru will concede the site. A little bit of pre-fire from Thief late. He will not be suppressed or detained. So the spike will go down. Does BreakThru try to challenge this right off the rip, though? Sim seems to want to. Fragment's also over the top. A chance to look at this. Shock Dart will land, and that's going to create G2, again, a little bit of space to work with. Cosmic Divide is in the backside of this, though. It's going to split this defense of the spike plant a little bit up. Oxy from down low takes care of Sim, and the rest of BreakThru are a little bit slow to kind of follow up behind this. Brock getting some damage done with the Odin, but the rest of his teammates are having trouble getting in. It's just Proto last one left, and Dapper will feast on the final 3 kills. G2 up 3.
Yeah, G2 just never let BreakThru have room off of that heaven rotation. Obviously, the first thing that happens there is, of course, the 0 point coming in, which stops Sim from having any real way to dash to safety when he crosses here and gets flashed. So it's a free pickings for Oxy. And then just from that point forward, Dapper giving out free haircuts there from the bottom of the site. It's a value deal.
Come one, come all.
Yeah. And that's a big win because now they're up 10-7. Now BreakThru's on the back foot. Again, they lose that round. It's probably 9 apiece. Instead, they have a 3-round gap, a chance to threaten the third.
Yep. Okay. And if you're BreakThru here, I mean, I will say this has been G2 getting onto site relatively easily so far. Are you looking for them to possibly play a little test heavy at these choke points, or?
Well, I mean, that time around they didn't have a choice, of course, with the alts, so it's understandable. But and we have seen BreakThru certainly willing to contest on the periphery of the map. We saw that at A main a couple of times already, as well as when Sim just takes a crazy peek off catwalk at the Sheriff. So they certainly aren't strangers to those types of plays. And obviously, a round like this is going to take something crafty. They do have a lot of alts on the board at the very least. So I'm sure we'll see Sim pull out the Blade Storm. They got the Ares on Brock and a Hunter's Fury, which could be a good stalling tactic.
Sure.
Stop a plant. Or to help a retake.
You're kind of looking for one of two things. Either Sim to collect a couple of kills, or possibly the Ares on the opposite side. This is kind of a two-folded defense, and oh my goodness, you're gonna give Sim the chance at that? Are you kidding?
Oh, Oxy. Oh, Oxy. You thought you had him, but you really didn't. And that's a big opening kill.
Hey, Brock has been deadly with these LMGs. There's still a chance that he holds this with just an Ares. Flashes off the walls. Here comes the play, but Brock falls instantaneously, leaving Proto by himself. Just a trap wire to keep him safe. Tries to play for some timing, and, well, Flya's there to at least assist to get one more kill for free. Or so to speak, for free. Shazam off the plant. Sim, it's just him with knives and deep off the flank, and as the flank is denied, you go to the Jet. Tries to work his way forward and only got through one. G2 to 11.
Good reactions, at least from G2, despite losing an Oxy early to the Bladestorm of Sim. They were able to pretty quickly snap onto B. They take Brock out immediately, don't let him have any type of free reign. Don't allow anything really happen at the back of B. Everything went G2's way in that regard. And so they will go up 11-7, but the full buy is back out for BreakThru. This is basically last chance saloon for them when it comes to Ascent. Otherwise, that third map will be coming.
Right here.
Yeah, that's true.
Scanning ahead.
Weird to see this BreakThru team having troubles on defense after what they did last week. But a lot of credit to G2, have looked clinical in a lot of these approaches.
Yeah, it's just unlike Haven, they're actually finishing the job.
Yeah.
You know, like they've always looked sharp on the attack in the early and mid round. It's just been when it's come to putting the finishing touches on it. But this map, they've been able to, you know, pave the way through all of that. They've been able to, you know, not fall right to the curveball, little like eco pushes that BreakThru have done to try to get back into the half. This is their last test, really. If they can get past this defense that has the op with Sim.
The knife will reveal a little bit. An extra star will be placed at the front doors of A. G2 still feeling things out with now Shazam pondering through mid-map.
I have the spike.
40 seconds on the clock. This is pretty parse off from G2's offense on Haven. Flya would have a null command if he even sniffs out and execute, but you don't want to get caught sitting in the middle of a tree, and he's going to be just done on that. So flashes himself out, tries to, but he's fully revealed. The shots do not land. Null command off the table. Thief only able to get one. Sim up top. Operator only gets a second as the Hunter's Fury is trying to assist defensively. But G2 have got when they came for. They're on for a plant.
Indeed, they are. It's going to be a 3-on-3 post plant for G2, a spot they struggled on Haven, but a place that they've done well on so far here on Ascent is everything from BreakThru is coming through Heaven, and last time they got chopped down at this very position.
Offensive Hunter's Fury trying to delay a little further. Shazam's going to connect. Oh, and he will collect as well. Just down to Brock. Hand. It would be unbelievable, but the transfer's not going to be there, and G2 get to 12.
Indeed, they do. BreakThru's retakes on A have been just very one-dimensional. It's been very A Heaven heavy, and you know G2 have been able to control A lobby in these post plants and handle the Heaven rotation just fine. This is probably the second or third time we've seen it come down to this. Equal exchange early on, but then once the spike goes down, G2 have everything handled. Really nailing the post plants here on Ascent in comparison to Haven, and that's going to be likely bringing us to a third map, but BreakThru will force up what they can, see if they can go on a run.
There's still a lot of kill potential here, that's for sure. They've got a little bit of everything in the mix, so just comes down to connecting.
Yeah, Penny's already eaten a few, down to 58 HP.
Run.
Oh, Shazam, though, has a nice little headshot angle there on the side stairs, gets his man, but aggression at A lobby comes up good for BreakThru.
Oh, and Proto just takes a little side peek, nearly does it again. Okay, so it got a little mixy, a little dicey, but the lockdown will allow G2 no plant as of taking the time to shut the door on mid-market. There's the null command. Just down to can you find these kills? G2 positioning largely from inside the site. Lots of information on that initial cross from Shazam. Flash out. Oxy not affected by it. Here comes the play through the side, though. The first two kills are good. Just down to Dapper, and he's not going to find a single kill. BreakThru will find 3 free weapon upgrades, and they have a chance to once again try to push Ascent to overtime. Still alive.
They're going to have to win 4 more rounds in a row, however, and G2 still have economy, and they've had a pretty solid attacking side so far. So definitely going to be an uphill climb for BreakThru, but it's certainly not one they haven't already done before. We saw it last week, of course, against Oxygen twice, making comebacks both times, this map included. Of course, they put on a heck of a show on Haven to go up 1-0 in the series, so certainly can't count them out. And it's also the truth that G2, if they lose this, they would have to take a save, and that's where BreakThru can put themselves within 2.
Absolutely. But do you have enough time here if you're to try to figure out what's been going wrong for you or what's been going well for G2 and actually put together responses? Because you're not going to have a lot of ults to get to overtime at this point. You've just got the neural theft for now. Thief is close to Cosmic Divide, but largely speaking, this has to be done by just the raw vanilla gameplay. You're going to have to put together a better game plan here, I think, if you want to get 4 in a row.
Yeah, Aljo getting a lot of intel here out of Shazam. They have not found Brock, but they have cleared a lot of space, and they've done so without really committing anything. Spike still over on the opposite side of the map. There is some decent utility set up here, though, still, as well as 2 members of BreakThru nearby. I will say this, though, man, their A retakes have not been on point this game, so it makes me curious that they want to try to hold it more firmly off the back of this Cypher and Astra utility as opposed to playing for the retake.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they try.
Something that you just want to make sure Flya stays safe, and as soon as you hit the execute and you get touches in, there's the knife. It's an offensive dual command coming forward. Penny takes a lot of damage on the entry, but does get his way in. And Flya actually does take him down. Now Thief up top, he can really lock down this front door. Zoxy also drops. G2 losing numbers like crazy. And they're not going to get in. Cosmic Divide is also committed to this. There's not a single shred of ground given by BreakThru. And G2 call out another ult trying to save the round. And they'll only get a single kill from Dapper.
That is a brilliant round from BreakThru, surviving with 4 members, picking up all the weapons, putting G2 into low econ, and a great adjustment, you know, getting away from just playing the retake and instead just holding firm off the back of their Astra and Cypher utility and just holding the site down before G2 could break in and get spiked down. And now it's Stingers only for G2, so BreakThru, a great opportunity to get to double digits, and all of a sudden overtime does become a real possibility. That big lead is withering away.
Oh, yeah. Just Stingers in this round. Deep knife. Does reveal 3. So Flya can hold this thing a little while longer. And here comes G2. Rapidly across the middle of the map. Aldrone will lead the way. Frag, good position, but Oxy dashing.
Still no frag.
Yeah, we'll get the first. Overwhelming as the Phantom is collected. We'll take it a 2-for-1. G2 on the site for a plant. It looks like BreakThru maybe want to try to commit to this retake a bit sooner than anticipate, especially with Brock already here, but they'll wait their time.
Yeah, they're going to have to clear out their flank with the Aldrone at middle. Neural Theft will also come through, so they're going to get the information. This time it's not one way. They're actually coming multiple directions on this retake. They're not being funneled, but they still are a man behind.
Proto reveals himself. Whippy playing through Archway. Brock the first one to drop, and Sim has got nowhere to go. Still an operator in hand. It just has to be Proto from the high ground. This will be a 1v4. Needs to drop down and deal with the other 3. Checks low. Then over towards the side. Nearly lines up 2, but it's Whippy who will confirm the Thrifty and the map for G2. It's going to be a map 3 affair here, my friend.
Indeed it is. And I think the big difference here is just G2 were able to close on the attack. Again, we talked about how on Haven they were very good at getting the spike down, very good at how they were taking map control and executing sites, but they could not hold off the retakes or the clutches from BreakThru. This time around, they stood toe-to-toe with BreakThru in that regard. They had an equal amount of clutches. They were able to really hold very good post plans, particularly on the A side of the map. It seemed like BreakThru really had a hard time finding ways to make their retake work there, and that's what's led G2 to victory lane and to a 3rd map.
Yep. Wow. What a set of maps we've had so far between these 2 squads. At times, it's been a lot of brilliance and a lot of great Valorant being played. At other times, it's just small mistakes that lead to some huge clutch-up moments. But boy, these 2 teams, I know it's hard to say, but they're the undefeated still in Group A after 1 week. Only one will survive at 2-0, and at this point, it really could be anybody. I mean, both teams are playing some really great Valorant at the moment between these 2 maps we've had so far.
Yeah, it's one of those things, though, where I feel like G2 seems the better team when it comes to, like, the raw fundamentals and just, like, the team play that takes place in the early and mid-round. I just think that BreakThru has that X factor of, like, just individual playmaking and being able to be crafty in chaotic situations, like, you know, on-the-fly reactions have been really good. I think the difference, again, though, just on this map was their clutching and retaking wasn't quite as up to snuff on this map as it was on Haven. G2 really polished their post plants, made the corrections in that regard, were really, smooth in those situations, and ultimately it leads them to a third map. So, man, we'll have to see, but I think maybe slight edge G2 just based on what I'm seeing, but it's very close.
I mean, you used the word crafty. We're going to have to really see what exactly this BreakThru team has. It's Pearl for map number 3, and BreakThru is a squad that has largely relied on the same composition across every map they've played so far. Will they try to get away with it once again on Pearl, or will the map force them to make some changes? We'll find out when we come back.
To some, this is nothing more than cardboard and ink. But to those who know, these are precious metals, rare gems, a full set it took 15 years to complete. Low-pop rookies, hypnotizing hollows, one of only a handful in the universe, or an heirloom to look after for the next generation. No matter what you collect, raw or graded, to have and to hold, or to crush your opponents with, what matters is that it's real. Introducing eBay's Authenticity Guarantee for trading cards. Our third-party authenticators inspect every detail of your card and compare it to the listing to make sure it's the real deal or no deal, because we know just how much your collection means to you.
Another series that goes the distance. 6 maps today here on the broadcast for the Knights Arena Valorant North America Challenger Split number 1. And before we jump into our 6th and final map, which will be Pearl, as Shift alluded to earlier, we have to talk about what we just saw in this last one. Shift, it's another 13-9, this time going the way of G2. And now with that, after a map 1 loss on Haven, they bring it back in a map 2 win on Ascent. Are we convinced that G2 showed us enough that they've figured out the way that BreakThru want to play and can get it done on Pearl?
I don't know if it's as much G2 figuring out BreakThru as much as it's G2 figuring out themselves. You know,
okay.
I think going through that offensive half when we had the string of G2 like convincingly finding good executes and holding on plants, winning before there even is a requirement to really make the spike an issue, that just goes to show that G2's really started to click. Those are the things that when we were looking at Haven for G2, especially from the offensive side, we're missing, right? I mean, we talked about those 4 rounds in a row where BreakThru found 4 fuses, and you go, okay, there were some miracle moments that happened, but that was more so it felt like G2 kind of letting the gaps kind of start to present problems. That didn't feel like the case on this offensive side. They still were very patient. They were still very meticulous. They were trying to put some pressure onto BreakThru, and this time it worked out a lot more successfully. So I would say this is more credit to G2 playing cleaner Valorant than it was necessarily them trying to figure out what BreakThru are doing and countering, I would say.
Yeah, it went from them losing 5 post plants in a row basically on Haven to this map they won 6 of 8 post plants, and particularly on the A site I think is where it was the world of difference, right? I mean, we kind of talked about that where at times BreakThru's retakes at A felt a bit one-dimensional through Heaven. G2 did a great job about kind of denying the other areas of the map to them whenever they were setting up their post plants, and it's just also about grit and composure from G2, right? I mean, there were definitely a couple of times where BreakThru were able to come in and pop off around and, you know, make things difficult on G2, but G2 still never wavered, right? They kind of held their own, even though Oxy didn't have the best game. He's usually one of their carries. You saw the breadth of this team. They have multiple people who can step up and deliver numbers. It's not just the Oxy show. And this is very evident this map when you look at the numbers right there on your screen. So, yeah, I think it was just G2 tidying up their post plants, you know, doing the in-round things better, and just getting a great performance out of pretty much their entire lineup.
And on the other front, too, just to kind of speak to Oxy, even though he wasn't necessarily the ACS leader that we kind of framed at the beginning of the series, he found 7 out of 11 opening engagements that he was a part of, which, you know, those 11 engagements, that's actually more total open him and Penny had combined in Haven. So his ability to get active early was, I think, part of the problem for BreakThru, and it did lead to some moments. So, I mean, 11 opening engagements is quite a bit. Sim had on the other side 13, so like both Jets were really getting involved early and often, but Oxy did, I think, a better job of kind of creating the space for Penny to then run through and kind of follow up on. So it was look for G2, but one that I can at least give a lot of high praise towards.
And I think very important to note, right? Because at the start of the broadcast, or at the start of the series, we kind of talked about, okay, Oxy, kind of the carry, really doing a lot in way of finding kills. This was a really good look for G2 to say that, hey, we don't just need... It's nice when he gets 7 first bloods. Yeah, sure, we love that. But it's not just him kind of putting everybody in their backpack in way of finding kills. The rest of the team can frag out behind him. So a nice shout to what Oxy can do, but what the rest of the team can do for G2. And now we set our eyes on Pearl, right? It's a map that BreakThru have had a couple of plays on since they've been together. G2, obviously, we don't have any idea. Dust, do you have any expectations for what we might be seeing in map 3?
Not on the G2 front, right? I mean, again, they took the true meaning of an off season and it didn't do anything in between the NALCQ and now as far as their roster goes, other than maybe like a fun event here or there, or they were playing with like a mixed team. So really, there's nothing to read from G2 when it comes to Pearl. Meanwhile, you know, this is a map that BreakThru was very successful on throughout qualifiers. They were 3-1 on their wins. They never allowed their opponents more than 4 rounds. They were very strong on both sides of the map, and they ran the same composition every single time. You know, that double initiator of Breach and Fade. They kept the Cypher, the Jet, and the Astra. So we'll see if they kind of keep up the trend. There's a lot of film out there on them that G2 could have watched. Maybe they changed things up because of it. And then G2 is just a mystery, right? Unless you got ideas from scrims or something like that somehow.
I will say, though, kind of looking at the results, BreakThru really didn't play anybody when they played Pearl. So, you know, is there really
But G2 literally didn't play anybody. You see what I'm saying? So, like, I'm just out here doing what I can, okay?
Yeah, so the caliber of opponent is, you know, it goes to show that BreakThru are fine playing the map and having it in the pool.
Exactly.
But to what level they play the map is still just as much of a question mark as that's
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, fortunately, we can find out. The map is ready. No more speculation. It's Scrimbucks on the G2 side versus the couple of officials on the BreakThru side. But most importantly, this will be the map that crowns the king of Group A after Week 2. Dustin Schiff, take it away.
Feels a little to crown king, but 2 weeks. But it isn't, you know, there is something to be said about, you know, changing kind of the metric in the community here between these two squads, because I think just by weight of org, everyone was saying G2, no problem. But This BreakThru team's looking pretty nasty, I'll say that much. And there's a lot of time to sit on the results here before we see week 3 does. Getting our first look at a couple of agents. This is essentially the same comp that we saw from BreakThru. No need to change anything, it looks like. And yeah, that'll be the case. On the other side, the Raze is the new addition instead of the Breach.
Duelist.
Yeah.
Yep, just a double duelist again from G2, just like Haven, just a different duelist this time around. They're again relying on the single initiator, Shazam on the fade. And then, of course, Astra has certainly been the primary controller that we've been seeing played on this map time and time again, so no surprise there. Obviously, Cypher can be very useful on this map, so no surprise with that either, especially when you have two dudes who literally made their careers off of Cypher, basically, early in the game. Makes it even less surprising. So,
true.
Yeah, again, it's going to be, you know, the double initiator versus the double duelist. You know, which one comes out on top? On Haven, it was BreakThru. This time, it could be a whole different story, though.
Okay. We've set the stage, we've set the scene, and now it's time to see how the story unfolds, as it'll be BreakThru on the offense, G2 defending, and both the double duelists for G2 are looking to maybe push through this opening a barrier early, see if they can provide some more pistol success for what has statistically been the best pistol team through at least the first week in NA. So.
Yeah. Also, we're successful last map, so definitely can
Bring them down.
throw that one out there. Shazam trying to throw a Prowler through middle early, trying to get some intel. A counter Prowler kind of comes in, though, and allows BreakThru to get into mid. Trying to get to Art. Set up the A split, perhaps, but a big A main push here from G2.
Deny, though. Not going to get much off of the Prowler from his teammates, so they'll back away. The Boombot's there to counter. A lot of vying for position across these mid hallways for both squads so far. It feels very Haven-esque when it came down to that battle over for A main.
Yeah, in the end, it looks like BreakThru want to try to take things into the link towards B. Camera gets taken out there, so Dapper is aware of the situation. As the attack does come pouring in, the rotation is going to be coming through spawn now, but not before the spike gets planted, it seems. Though some of that Cypher utility seemed like it was going to come through, but Dapper actually misses the frag. Spike goes down.
Okay. So now an opportunity with numbers for BreakThru to try to hold. G2 largely coming out of bridge, and it's going to be a double hit backside halls. That is a brilliant clear. Now to a 4v4, a key position already taken away. At this point, though, BreakThru still kind of multiple layers at this. A lot of focus back still over towards mid. This play through B-Link is resulting in a lot of success. Proto-Scam will get even more information, and then the follow-up with the fault line leads to quick kills. Shazam now by himself. This will be a 1v3. Evades the Nova Pulse. Predicts onto Thief first. Time is becoming an issue, though, and Proto may have thrown a shoulder. Yeah, that'll be enough information for them to get the kill.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a brilliant combination of BreakThru in the post plant of not only keeping Thief alive for so long inside the B link as a constant nuisance that really didn't allow G2 as much space as they would want for the retake, but also just great use of utility between, you know, the Cam and Flya stun to really allow Proto to kind of break through onto Oxy, and that puts Shazam in a tough spot, of course, in the 1v3 where there's really no chance at survival. So, good reactions there from BreakThru after some jockeying for position early.
We've seen this a couple of times out of both of these two teams, even on the defensive side, losing the round.
Stinger is out.
Stinger's in, I'm telling you.
Yep.
It's pretty good.
It's in this year.
It's in for now this year.
Yeah, it's in for the first 2 weeks.
Enjoy it while it's here. A little bit of vying.
I would sell stocks now in Stingers if you're holding.
Exactly, yeah.
But for right now, it plays.
Yeah. A lot of Prowler focus for both these fades through mid. Once more, it's BreakThru trying to get into Art. At least with some presence, but G2 will have numbers here to deal. And BreakThru really not all that interested in committing any further forward. They're going to retreat back over towards Club and make a play likely over towards main.
And I like this because if you think the defensive team is playing Stingers, you're going to be able to take these long-range battles from long B to kind of counteract that. It's just making sure you don't get caught by someone playing a corner by pillar or something along those lines, or maybe in the back halls, but they're doing a good job using their utility to clear their way forward. Really, it's now only back halls that can become a problem, as Dapper does still maintain that position.
Yeah, this time it's BreakThru not opting to play in towards halls into the double trap wires, or so you would have thought. Dapper collects a free kill. Oxy should be able to get a trade here onto Brock, but it comes at a steep cost. Then how about the help from Thief to the initial engagement? So Brock on 6 HP is a bit trapped inside of halls. Proto still playing over towards the pillars, and oh, the timing here, exquisite from Brock on 3.
What a hero.
Shazam off the reload. It's Brock who does it all himself. Little shifty reposition out of Brock to take down 4.
Yeah, I mean, he was really the hero of the round, wasn't he? I mean, Dapper controls back halls early on that take, gets the first frag, and makes you wonder if maybe, just maybe, G2 are going to pull one through off the Stingers, but Brock battles back with the Spectre, winds up with 4 kills on the round, solo effort, gets his team across the finish line to a 2-0. Now G2 on the save, BreakThru a chance to extend the lead.
Where are they?
Kind of wild to see double fade on this map too. No KOs from either side. It's been a minute since we've seen no KO, I think, at least in my experience casting over this map.
I mean, Fadis can do so much.
Absolutely.
There.
It's a very big map, so you get a lot of value, I think, out of having multiple prowlers for scouting as opposed to just one knife.
Now BreakThru with the killer actually going to make the push in towards Art. Oh, Sim wanted to get the box, and how important may that have been, because Whippy does confirm a kill plus extra damage. On the A site, though, Flya will get the plant for free, and G2 have to play retake.
Indeed they do, and it's all coming one direction, basically, through Secret. Right now, there is a smoke kind of shrouding them on their way to Dugout if they want to do that. Flya playing inside the closet will spot one at the back of the side already, and then nails down Dapper, so this should be all she wrote.
Looking likely. Shazam's going to try to make it come at a cost, though, only able to tally a single kill. So, hey, how about this for BreakThru? Not often you see a lot of aggression and a lot of early fight for that A art position, but BreakThru 3 rounds in a row have really made it a focus.
This is their strongest start yet, I feel like, this series.
I agree.
I think it was G2 having the really strong start on Haven that they kind of let. I think they were up 6-2 or something like that, 5-2. They had a strong start as well in the previous map, wound up winning it. This time, BreakThru's the one controlling the tempo early. Full buy for both sides. Each team has the Nightfall available.
I'll find you.
This time, not a lot of focus towards Art. It's actually quick for BreakThru in towards main. Cypher setup is here, but Flya is just interested in getting the orb. That's enough for them to also add the potential of a Rolling Thunder to the mix. Nightfall on the way in. And Oxy actually wants to challenge this. Has to back away with the decay, especially considering the operator's the only weapon in hand. Dapper for the first kill. That was Oxy. Hit that little quick scope onto Brock. Sim around the back, denied. Penny very avidly watching the quick flank.
One enemy remaining.
And that's G2 dominated the defense in the phase of the Nightfall, unless Proto can do something, again, extra miraculous. But will only take 2 kills and G2's on the board.
Yeah, again, G2 looking like a well-oiled machine on that retake, essentially on the A side. Just great thought there from Penny to watch that back hall swing through Secret, making sure that his teammate wouldn't get flanked as he was trying to come through Flowers. Also, obviously, great op work there from Oxy inside the site. So they'll get their first round on the board. Still, of course, BreakThru able to get the full buy here. They still have Rolling Thunder available for a site take. Or defend off a retake, whichever they choose.
Yeah.
Hey, pretty early here for the orb.
Yeah. So that's Sim now with knives. If they're not taking anything with them out of the spawn. But a forfeit. They're not going to be able to literally look into mid-map, so G2 will have an advantage here early. Prowler to try to confirm, but it won't see anything. G2 don't want to really force a gunfight, though, at least this early through mid, so they'll just back away and Prowler as well.
And that's pretty risky because he could have easily gotten pushed by mid shots while he was holding that angle. And Oxy, see you later, he says. Deletes him at that operator. So that's a very powerful tool off the board for BreakThru.
And we're 5 rounds in. I have never seen a team do this, where BreakThru's just continuing to hit through B-Link, A-Art.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're really
wanting
to take the pace of that side. And I mean, the thing is, if you can control B-Link on the attack, it makes it so hard to retake that side of the map defensively. It's a very powerful position to hold on the attacking side. Also, it's another route to get into B site.
Sure.
Now, with that said, Whippy is controlling back B pillar.
Yep.
Now, he obviously doesn't know about flank, so he has to always kind of keep tabs on that, but it's still a great position to play from to help retake the side as well.
Now Whippy's been found.
Well, never mind.
Quick kill. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough call, right? Like it feels like you're just kind of guessing if you're Whippy. Do I play in halls? Do I back up through bridge? Do I play forward? And podium and then have to worry about the flank. A lot of question marks. Oxy with the knives now, though. Neural theft is out. Lots of information. And the call will be trying to isolate Thief first and foremost.
One enemy remaining.
Around the corner, needed. Operator can now come out to try to challenge this long-range angle. The toggle could get here. As Brock is the last one left. Dapper to half. Just going to stick it. Oxy watching the crop will be enough as the defuse comes through. G2 back within 1.
Yeah, as soon as that honk comes out and it doesn't see the other person, he knows exactly what's happening. That op's holding the back hall's angle, and you best believe that you have to swing that to stop the defuse, and he knew what he had to go up against, but again, knowing is only a part of it, as that was such a brilliant opener. I mean, goodness gracious, Oxy. He might have took a little bit of a map off last match, so to speak, to his normal standards, but he's certainly looking to get back into action here on Pearl. So we'll put a second round up there for G2. BreakThru now on the save, so yeah, going to be a great chance to tie things up.
Fault line's out.
Oh, the grab to stop the boom bots so they can get the orb.
Yeah, double gravity well, though. It also kind of keeps BreakThru a little bit at bay as well.
In the end, it's still the battle one from BreakThru, though, for the orb. Only a small token, though, as they come into this with very little firepower, but Sim, being the main guy with the gun, does get pretty deep into sight pretty quickly here at closet position, but misses its man.
Shazam Whippy gonna clean this one up, no problem. It really does come down to that first battle, right? I mean, I think we all kind of clench a little bit as if you ever played Jet, you just start dashing into the enemy. So, oh, wait a second, let me get behind cover.
Protoss, I mean, he's seen where all three of them are, and that spike is nowhere near his possession.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's one of those things where I'm not sure knowing does you any good.
Exactly. I was just going to say the same thing. It's like it feels bold to call it the neural theft here.
Yeah, I was surprised by that. Maybe he thought he would read that someone was still on the other side of the map and he would have a chance at like a quick 1v2 skirmish, but he gets to confirm that all three are indeed here. And Oxy will
not miss twice?
Yes.
Okay, tie game at 3. Full purchase coming out, though, this time for BreakThru. They also have the only ultimate for now. Cosmic Divide at the ready, but Am and Penny, Whippy also just one kill or orb away from being able to match, if not best, the Cosmic Divide.
Yeah, lots of ults brewing for G2, but one on the board for BreakThru. Shazam having a great game here. 10 frags with 6 rounds played. Oxy's getting a good rhythm early as well. Once again, BreakThru continuing the trend of trying to challenge middle early.
Cage triggered.
This time they're going to be given the opportunity to kind of walk in freely. The only thing really contesting is the Prowler and the Spy Cam. So G2 will be pretty happy kind of stacking the, I won't say stacking the outside of the map, but you've got a really far forward position on a Whippy. And then the support of just the trap wires to kind of keep Oxy a bit safe in case there is an aggressive push into his operator.
They also feinted across to long B because there was a K triggered by a Proto. So G2 don't quite know for sure if someone's back B ramp or not. Meanwhile, BreakThru looking to really press this art control into something deeper, trying to start splitting open this A site. A Penny, though, backing off. They have a main control. That's big defensively for G2 because that just gives them a way to retake from multiple positions. Because obviously BreakThru are going to be trying to clear closet, clear back by flowers and such. Like they may not think about this main position so much.
Well, they're going to be... Shazam gets caught.
30 seconds
Just a quick route being hit by Sim in front of the spike leads to now no more fade on the table for G2.
I love this plant. They planted backside 4 secret and dugout so they could play these defensive spawn angles.
Sim aggressive. That works out. And actually just wants to force it right into Ox. See who gets isolated working from mid. Not often you see a play through that side kind of vent area, but it works out nicely. And the rest of G2, who were hoping for a chance to retake from behind. Now
what a read from BreakThru, though.
Yeah.
Like the fact that they get that kill at Flowers and they immediately plant on the backside of the site towards A secret and they take it for themselves instead. Like they had the perfect read that G2 were actually playing A main, which is pretty beautiful. And again, they have just continued to show how powerful they can be on controlling A art and using that to open up the site.
A lot of things for G2. Still, we're in a tight game. Shazam's Nightfall at the ready. Still looking at the Cosmic Divide for Thief. full economy for both teams, and it's starting to actually shift hands a little bit. G2 were comfortable with their early economical lead, but that is starting to be threatened.
It certainly is. Nightfall available for Shazam, and again, Whippy and Penny only one orb off the ult. Oxy back onto the operator. Again, looks like it's going to be a fight for mid early from both sides.
Oh, the forward op from Oxy gets the first blood. So that's how G2 decide to respond to BreakThru's early utility. Let's just take an aggressive angle, and it works out beautifully. Now BreakThru have to kind of figure out what they want to do in the 4v5.
Yeah, Dapper has spotted one at long B, so he decides to go ahead and tuck back into back hall.
How about
Just play off
this?
this utility. In the meantime, Sim trying to make something happen at the link. He's going to get pushed off by the Prowler and the haunt of Shazam. So no B link given up for G2. They'll reclaim that space as their own. And Shazam, oh, thought he was going to grab one, but Penny at least is able to get the trade. Keeps my man ahead.
Divides up for the offense. Hits on the way. The trap actually just gets triggered by the Prowler, so Dapper will not get an opportunity to get a free kill. Showstopper's on the way out, and that will not be needed. Proto will drop pretty rapidly. Spike does get planted, though, and this is going to be a double stack through halls for the post-plant hold. I mean, you just have to hope you find a piece of timing here to get a free kill. This is a difficult spot for him, especially now that Penny knows about one. That isolation is quick, and then Oxy made sure that Brock could never actually take a peek, so we get tied up at forward. G2 looking good in the defense all of a sudden.
Yeah, really well done is getting that early pick at middle with Oxy. They also got the better end of the trade inside B link afterwards. So kind of keeping themselves ahead. Dapper had a pretty good read on the B attack coming in, was able to stay alive, buy time for rotations, and G2 just exchanging better in the duels, and so they tie things up for a piece. 2 alts carried over for them now at the Cosmic Divide and the Nightfall. Dapper went away from Neural Theft. Certainly economic advantage as well for G2. They win this BreakThru back to saving.
Yeah.
So
Lots of back and forth here at full buys. I don't know about you, but this is where Valorant becomes the most fun for me, is just seeing all these teams just taking big swings at one another.
they are not letting up on this take.
No,
By
not
the way,
at
at
all.
Link, they have just really been pushing the issue at Link and Art every chance they can get. We've seen G2 though, to their credit, like figure out ways to counter the B Link take on multiple occasions, thanks to the Fade utility of Shazam. So they're not giving it away. That's for dang sure.
It's just really curious though, because with all this pressure offensively through mid, it doesn't really give G2 a chance to ever feel things out on the outsides of the sites. Like it's kind of a 40 take every time because of
Exactly. Yeah, and that means that BreakThru, now conditioning them that way, can start playing these heavier long B setups and giving themselves good opportunities for spike plants, which is what's going to happen here again. It seems Prowler leading the way. Penny caught. Sim even pressuring Heaven as the spike comes in. This side Aftershock will help him further push into defensive spawn. Does have low HP though. Has to be careful.
This is just him.
Oxy has no idea.
Not a clue. Oh, now he will. Oh, good response. Missed chance from Sim, but
yeah,
I'm fine with that. 20 HP. Just try to take another one off guard. But now all of a sudden we get to a 4v4 G2 looking to hit the Nightfall and Cosmic Divide together. This is a lot of information towards Halls. They're all set to confirm everything, as Proto was only able to take down one in response. Lots of pressure trying to break through to try to stay in front of this Cosmic Divide, and they are. Kills coming through, just kind of working around the Nebula as Thief. One more close. Whippy, he gets the double, down to a 1v1. It's a classic against Proto. The right click's not gonna land, and Proto clutches up for BreakThru.
That is so big. I mean, obviously big entry onto Penny. Again, Sim threatening defensive spawn through Heaven. And the fact that G2 burnt, what, 3 alts there and got nothing from it, that is pretty damning. I mean, Nightfall, Neural Theft, Cosmic Divide. Thief just plays off of it around his own Nebula there in front of him and able to finish the job and put BreakThru ahead 5-4, and they avoid that saving scenario we were referring to if they had lost that one.
Oh, yeah.
Now they're back in the driver's seat.
Yep. Ultimate's getting pretty close for them as well. Okay.
No harm, no foul.
No, not at all.
It looks
You're
like
absolutely
they're gonna...
right. I mean, here's that conditioning. Not even threatening mid-map. I mean, G2 can't afford to move anything back because who knows that they're going to delay hit
Exactly.
through mid-play.
Exactly. They have to respect the speed link in middle position, and this time Dapper's even coming up through B link to help support Shazam. That's how afraid they are of this. They're even committing a star early to Art as well. So like BreakThru have definitely done their job of like really keeping G2 on their toes on where they might strike from early. But once again, it's going to be a heavy B hit with this Rolling Thunder on Link.
BreakThru know that they've got him trapped. I mean, the Rolling Thunder is used solely over towards B Link. They weren't even worried about any Hall's positions whatsoever. So that's just dominating control. Free sight now taken as the plant comes through. And G2 have to figure out, how do you break back into this? You've got nothing, really.
Yeah, just gotta rely on base utility and fragging, and they don't have anyone on the flank option. It's all coming through Link and topside.
Yeah. Paint shells out through Halls. Oh, what a shot from Oxy. Now he's got the knife, trying to go high. Oxy for the double, dashing on forward. Nearly connects onto Brock, but the right click goes a bit astray. Shorty deals damage, but not enough. Penny has to try to follow up. And it's just now down to Thief as G2 win out the outslay on the retake. Thief, marked. Diffuse, on the way. Get down, Mr. President. Does he get the kill in time? No, it gets to halfway. It would have been close.
Nice try, though, man. He did kind of just bob and weave, and he actually did get the diffuser down, so gotta credit him where credit's due, but let's give the credit all to Oxy, man. That dude blew that round back up. That looked like BreakThru, as you were saying, had the perfect read, had the long B take, had the beautiful Rolling Thunder through B Link, but then Oxy finds his man with the op, allows him to get out the Blade Storm and just make magic happen. Winds up with 2 frags, but so much damage to another for the assist. Sets up the 3v1 there at the end for G2 to tie things right back up at 5 apiece, and we can see BreakThru suffering the repercussions here, only having some shares and a Marshall, or 2 Marshalls now to be exact.
Yeah. Wow. A half-changing round that was. So now the eco advantage, BreakThru right back to work, trying to work through mid. And wait, that's an easy kill onto Whippy. He's gonna be able to get a free kill or free weapon for this.
Yep.
Night falls out. Oxy's playing forward. He needs to hit close and misses it. So now you've got 2 players down and BreakThru sprinting onto site.
Yeah, Cosmic Divide will block off Flowers, and that secret position. Paint shells miss the mark. You're actually going to see Flya get into dugout position. Haunt gets broken. But that Girl Theft will give him the read he needs with the satchel. It's so well done to knock his aim off.
Nearly catches the timing as the satchel's being thrown. But Civ now with an operator fresh in hand, looking to capitalize. Oh, nearly misses out on an opportunity to Shazam. Gravity Well stops the defuse. Penny by himself. This will be a 1v3. And it's all triple stack up high. Gets the first. Paint shells now re-earned. Can use this to possibly get this to halfway. Maybe could put a reset onto this. Here come BreakThru for the challenge, and Thief will find it just the nick of time for eBay. We have 1 more in the half. BreakThru back up on.
That is insane what Thief was able to get away with there. Certainly looked to his name just stealing that round away from G2. They were so behind in economy, but they kept challenging him, and he kept winning. I mean, I don't know what to say. Allows him to get the Cosmic Divide down and a safe spike plant and just play it out from there. Thief winds up with a hat trick to secure that Thrifty. So it's like right when G2 do something amazing like that B retake, they kind of just cough one back up, and it's allowed BreakThru to keep this game close. Yeah, they're the ones at the back economically coming to this final round.
And it's just that little tempo change for BreakThru. Catches G2 just touch off guard. Oxy bested off of having the opening angle. Whippy, the double stinger kills come out, nearly gets all 3. That would have been absolutely gigantic for G2 trying to respond with a Thrifty of their own. Last 2 players alive do have rifles though, and Shazam. Thought for maybe a second he could get one and get out, but now Dapper's on the wrong side of the map.
Yeah, no ults or anything like that in play, so it's all going to come down to raw aim and timing. As Dapper will be coming through water into defensive spawn, but BreakThru playing together inside secret, so they should be able to set up the trade at worst case scenario.
Also star down just in case they hear the spike. But if Dapper can find one quickly, maybe you can line them both up, but Proto quick on the trigger. Gives BreakThru the edge through the first half. It's 7-5 BreakThru in this map 3.
Man, oh man. This has been quite the back and forth affair, really all series long. We've seen hints of brilliance from both teams. We've seen mishaps here and there from both as well. We've seen big opening plays, big clutches in the end round, and I mean, everyone's kind of been a part of it. There's been no single name that's really stood out more than another. Man. Fly has been a bit more quiet this game than the rest of the series. I will say that.
It's fair.
But let's see if he can change the tempo defensively.
I think the thing about it is, like, you're not relying on Fly's utility to clear out those mid angles, right? Like, that was a lot on Brock, so you have to figure that he's going to be called often here defensively on this breach.
Absolutely. They're going to be also loading up the B-Link area defensively on this pistol, as it's going to be a long B take from G2 with everyone except for Dapper. He's playing Art. He's actually going to create some disturbances here through Art.
Yeah, for sure. If he just holds here, he may catch, trying to hit a bit of a flank. Cybercage will give this away, but Dapper still connects on the shot. So now mid-map won by G2 as Shazam gets the plant off. And BreakThru have to decide, what do we do here? Try to retake. Do you just full flood in from the front and hope you don't get flanked? Or isolate a little bit. It's taking time. Fault line's out though. Sim on the way in. Everyone's still concussed, but the trade is out for Shazam. Swaps up and back to the Ghost. Second challenger. But just pick your poison, it feels like, as BreakThru will work their way in from the front. Aftershock clears off podium. Flya toggles for the spike defuse. A long-range ghost shot's made to determine the outcome of this pistol. Will expire. Dapper trying to step a little bit further forward. Whippy working with him. Fly has only got 1 bullet worth of health remaining as he continues to toggle it. Shots, though, are not landing. Now Flya has to hold. Whippy's kept at bay. Flya still sticking, but the kill comes through. And that will be the game-winning, or at least the round-winning play, and the eBay clutch for Whippy.
Certainly a stressful one, though, man. Everyone's kind of sweating bullets down the forehead on that one. Like you said, there's a lot of long-range battles going on, and a lot of extended sequences of ghost taps, but eventually Whippy comes out on top just at the right time as Flya was nearing it there. Another big pistol win for G2 this series.
Oh, this is a nice.
Definitely what the doctor ordered, as they were a couple of rounds behind. This will quickly allow them to tide things up, as we aren't seeing BreakThru force up too heavily here. They do get 2 stingers and a couple of shares, but not the full stinger buy that you sometimes see.
Yeah.
Bring them down.
Boy, you just feel like the tone for this entire half, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, you got to give credit to Dapper for just his ability to lurk the middle of the map and kind of get his team ahead of man and roll it from there.
Yeah. BreakThru still keeping Sim pretty far forward here at B-Link. And it's a well-advised play, detected with how many offensive members are looking to kind of peek in through Link. Proto trying to hold up close, but Oxy just runs and guns him down. Gets the double with the Bulldog and Shazam for a free plant, and BreakThru just not much you can do here defensively with what weapons they have left.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like a great sequence of prowlers and satchels and so much disruption utility to not really allow BreakThru to get a good firm footing back onto the B site. And then G2 lets their superior firepower ring true after that, so that'll square us up at 7 apiece.
Okay.
Enemy remaining.
Now, you got to keep in mind for G2's offense, holds have been pretty successful for them in the series, and if their opening breakoffs continue to find success like that once we start to see full weapons, you have to feel like BreakThru are going to have to put a little bit more stress on the outsides of the map, something we have not seen them do yet, as they continue to put not just 2, but 3 members at least watching over mid-map. Quick hit from G2 over towards Zay. It's going to be on the defensive Thief trying to respond to this, and he's already threatened back over towards Secret. On the hunt is the rest of G2. Penny, Oxy trying to push forward. Lots of utility trying to block their line of sight, but G2 have gained the majority of the site unless they can't find Brock, who kind of snuck back in through lane. Kills come out. Whippy now for the plant.
A weapon picked up as well in Flowers here. That's an important upgrade for Oxy, but he actually goes down. Dapper, though, able to come through with the Bulldog from long, and now it's all on Sim with low HP, and they have such good positions on him.
Over the top, though, gets the first long-range shots would have to come through into Dapper. Cloud burst through, but Dapper takes the angle. Doesn't allow Sim to play around with the Cloud burst in any regard, and G2 back up to 1.
Yeah, that's a big round win as well. Basically banking on their bonus and putting BreakThru onto a save off the back of it. Couple of free weapons coming into them as well because of that. That's going to allow them the nice credit reserve to build up.
Yeah, for sure.
Blade Storm already available for Oxy should he need it. But obviously the way economies go, not going to be required now.
Still a lot of focus here through mid.
Taking that back.
Prowlers will exchange hallways. BreakThru getting forward with Sim, but will maybe think the better of it. Actually, he's going to try to go for the orb. This will put him one off a knife. Yeah, just barely gets it.
Oxy threatening an art position while Whippy still maintains A main presence. Now they start pressuring B Link with the Prowler, but the counter fault line there comes through from Fly to kind of slow that down. Just Ambry takes the angle though, and that's going to keep Flya busy.
It's also going to force the defense to rotate.
Yep. Again, G2 have been really good at these early setups to, you know, pick and poke at the defensive rotations, create presence all across the map, and make it very hard for BreakThru to read the lay of the land. And that's even tougher when you have low firepower. It makes you want to bite even sooner than normal because you know you have to have a chance to win.
A lot of utility spent now from BreakThru, feeling the pressure through Link. Thief steps into the Nebula. Over the top goes Oxy. And Thief still completely concealed away from the play, at least until Penny sniffs it out. Flya on the response, but only gets one. Penny wants more than this. Sees Brock down low, but also has a chance to clear off hallways. Proto gets one before falling. That's actually a key elimination, especially as Sim up top is now a part of the picture. Blades earned off that elimination. Needs to pop off, gets the first. One more, the little dash, but Dapper shuts him midair. And G2 creating some space now up 2.
Really well done there from Dapper, but certainly that was a lot scarier than it should have been. You felt like G2 had everything going their way. They had a great pinch on B through Link and Long. They had the firepower superiority. They were getting the good end of these initial exchanges, but Sim found a way to break through and put this into a 1v1, but Dapper doing a bit of skeet shooting, I guess you could say, with
That goes there.
Sim flying out there. That's going to be 9-7 now.
And advantages in a major way towards G2 after that round. 3 ults already ready. Whippy close to having his. Sim, the first shot lands this time though to Whippy. Aggression through A main works out. Stars to cover their back. And the rest of the focus from G2 is up through mid. Double stack still here. And yeah, that's a wise call from G2 trying to back away, but Flya's actually playing forward this round. Has a chance at the first, has to back away. Aftershock to cover his bases. And G2 will be stalled for a little while longer at mid.
And he tried to retake the angle after the aftershock. He's just getting pressed more and more backwards. He's holding his ground, though, and finding both frags and the spike. Somehow, some way, Flya still stands, and that's a hat trick now.
I mean, color me surprised. You thought that you had to kind of respect the distance gained by Flya. The utility just kind of completely overwhelmed G2 in the chase. Not twice, but 3 total times. So now Dapper kind of lurking around through mid, the last hope. Lots of time to work with, to be fair, but no spike in a 1v5. It just goes back to the decision to chase. It's a confusing one.
Surprising it didn't work, at least. I mean, I figured maybe you lose 1 or 2 players there chasing Flya, but for Flya to get all of them is spectacular.
Dapper for the 1v1! Nearly gets the 1v5 clutch!
Oh boy. Again, this match has had a little bit of everything, hasn't it? I mean, every time you think you have it figured out as a spectator, you don't. A plot twist is already seemingly lurking around the corner, but this time around, it winds up eventually going the way you'd expect. Definitely a little bit more taxing than it probably should have been after Flya put this much work in. We were just talking about how Flya had been a bit quiet in the first half of this game compared to the rest of the series, and he hasn't taken too long to show himself here in the second half.
No, not at all.
That's a big round.
And it's just one of those things, you know, there's the difference in the compositions coming through. Both Fates have had impact. Dapper walks forward, finds a free kill. Plus now the blades are out. We'll get back to that earlier point about comps in a moment. As G2 just keep the gas pedal down, even getting through dugout and possibly threatening BreakThru's defensive side at spawn.
Yeah,
Proto try to get an angle. Oxy still holding, waiting for a chance, and he's seen Thief in the connection as soon as the Cosmic Divide gets called in, Dust.
Indeed it does, and now they have a 5-on-3 post plant, and the weapons advantage that BreakThru had slowly and surely doesn't matter any longer. Now they can just play up against the Cosmic Divide wall and just wait for someone to make the mistake of coming through.
Oxy's just waiting for a right click.
Oh yeah, he is.
Kidding. Benancy moves forward, and Valley's going to try to chase down BreakThru, and why not? You just have knives.
Exactly. Let the airbender go.
Exactly.
You just know that's the inspiration for this character as well.
Hello. What? Headphones got on, brother? Oxy, no more.
G2 breaking back out in front. 10-8.
Whew. You're absolutely right, though. I mean, we never know. It's just been
No.
This is about as unpredictable of a series I think you and I have ever covered. Just for great reasons and some mistakes alike. It's just this is the definition of early season.
Yeah, I think it's I think it's a combination of how fresh of a team BreakThru is as a 5.
Yeah.
You know, like obviously it consists of players who have lots of experience, but they all have those experience from different teams. And in the case of Sim, it's from more of the academy level. You take a look at G2, it's like a combination of V1 and Sentinels basically, with a sprinkle of a new player in Oxy.
Sure. Yeah.
Who's kind of making his way up from kind of a similar position to someone like Sim, kind of from the academy level, so to speak.
Right.
And so that combination of them being fresh teams and G2 not having any games before last week against FaZe and BreakThru mostly only getting to play against smaller competition throughout the qualification process, and so therefore you don't really know where the map pools stand and how people are trying to already start preparing for the transition to Lotus and Split coming back into the map pool.
Yeah, good point.
There's a lot of variables in play, I guess is the point. And throughout the course of this series, we've kind of seen them all, right? We've seen G2 be successful in the early to mid rounds, particularly on the attacking side, but we've also seen them struggle in the post plant. Then we saw them redeem themselves in the post plant on the previous map, being able to figure out ascent, particularly on the A side. But we've seen BreakThru time and time again be able to pull out big individual moments, big clutches, really try to kind of just disrupt G2's calculated style and enforce G2 to be more responsive, which is the hardest part about a new team, is figuring out how to handle those mid-round chaotic moments. Like that is always what you're trying to build, is those protocols to handle those moments. But when you're this early in the season with this new of a squad, it takes time, and you can prep it all you want in scrims, but it's a different beast when you're in these official matches and you're feeling things you haven't felt before. And that's why I think these games get so scrappy, because each team has enough talent.
Absolutely. As I say, on the other side, it's not just the fact that we knew that there was talent there, but I think now, after the first weeks of match, and now here with the individual clutches, the amount of trust that BreakThru has to have in one one has had to have gone through the roof, right? I mean,
exactly.
You're down 3 maps, you force it to OT, you win both OT rounds quickly, and now you've had 1v2s, 1v3s, multiple 1v1 clutches, nearly a 1v5. I mean, you have to think that at a certain point now, all of a sudden, BreakThru are looking at their setups and saying, we can trust X player to walk away with at least 1, if not 2 kills, especially when it comes from the defensive side of things. It's a really exciting time, I think, to be a BreakThru, watching this team grow in front of our eyes like this.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing like players return the form on BreakThru, like a Proto getting back to some of his old roles, Thief getting back to playing that controller type character, Sim, showing himself to be another one of those young up-and-comer duelists, and again, Flya, a way more impressive player to me this year than he was last year when he was playing with FaZe. Definitely has certainly improved himself during the offseason, no doubt about that. And then G2 is kind of the same story, right? Oxy has turned out to be another one of those up-and-comers to keep an eye out on. That the veterans of Shazam and Dapper have shown us that they still do have gas left in the tank, despite all the doubts that were leveled against them on Sentinels last year.
Sure.
And, Whippy and Penny, kind of the same story, particularly for Penny. I mean, Penny was a guy that, again, we talked about this earlier, kind of very early 2022, but the first months of that year and the end of 2021, he was right up in the conversation with any other duelist in North America. Right there. And he just kind of fell off a bit after that, though, like when you hit kind of the middle portion of the year. But we've seen multiple times now for G2 throughout the last couple of weeks, he's shown that he still has it. Like he's still got the stuff to have huge impact. And maybe he's not having the best map here so far, but we are starting to see signs that this G2 team is definitely one that has something to them, but equally so is BreakThru.
It's all good points. A lot of things to kind of let us marinate in throughout not just this tech pause, but like you mentioned, lock-in's going to take chess to the wayside until week 3. And that's, I think, going to be the most exciting week of challengers, to see who's been able to kind of take what they've learned over the first 2 weeks, modify, adjust, maybe even draw some inspiration off the international event. And that will be I think, a really revealing point to really start to kind of look into, okay, here were the first 2 weeks of action. You kind of get a chance to kind of reevaluate your opening power rankings, but week 3 will be, I think, the real proving point as you try to finish off this first stage of challengers and we get into towards those playoffs.
Yeah.
Who's really got the highest potential when it comes to learning and growing and actually being a threat to possible VCTNA teams?
Well, it's also the new variables that are going to get added in week 3, right?
Absolutely,
I mean, we're going to see a new patch that's going to balance out the stinger. You know, we're going to see low
M80, they're looking by and far heads and shoulders away from everybody else in Group B at the moment.
for sure.
Rebellion's loss this week was a head scratcher, I think, just in the fashion of how it happened, especially considering how good they looked in week 1.
Right.
I mean, how much do you look at these two squads, regardless of the result, and say that these are still going to be our top 2 teams, even though one of them is going to be tied into a big mosh pit of 1-1 squads?
Yeah, that's a good point, right? Because, I mean, I think, like, if we're just talking the overall, I think it still is M80 and the guard that look like the most impressive teams in the league. Obviously, they happen to be in the same group, though, so it makes it a little bit harder. Whereas you look over at Group A, and it is a little bit more wide open because of the situation that happened with Shopify and Oxygen Esports. You know, I think if Shopify had won that game, they would have solidified themselves as one of the favorites in Group A. Instead, they split that wide open, and now it's going to be one of these 2 teams that sit 2-0 in the number 1 position before we get to our 2-week break. So yeah, I do think that Group A is still very wide open based on what I'm seeing so far. It just, like, I don't know why, and maybe people are gonna, like, say what they want to say, but for some reason G2 still passes the eye test for me in this group as far as...
I agree.
Like, just how they handle, like, some of the foundational pieces of the game is very good. I think it's just about tidying up some of these late round situations, some of these post plants.
Yeah.
I do see, like, how they're able on multiple different maps now, on how they're able to exercise map control methodically, how they're able to, you know, take things together. You know, they clearly have a lot of individual talent. So they passed the eye test for me in that regard. But certainly I have been impressed, you know, with what BreakThru's been able to accomplish the last 2 weeks with this roster. You certainly can't overlook that.
So would you say, you think, like, from a off the rip, barriers drop 5v5 form, like the playbook from G2 has been impressive? It's just when they get down to 2v3s, 3v2s, limited numbers, that things get a little bit out of control at times. Is that kind of the best way of kind of categorizing it?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think maybe it's just growing pains of a new roster. I mean, everyone's kind of feeling that, right? I mean, really the only teams that stepped into this year in challengers, at least, that had, like, a roster was basically FaZe and the Guard, right? I mean, those were the 2 teams that maintained 4 of their 5 players from last year. Everyone else has been big shuffles. I mean, I guess TSM, to a degree, kept, like, a core 3 from last year. Obviously, the Shopify Rebellion guys were playing together a lot, like on Luminosity back in the day and such, that they obviously only, I think, changed one player. They brought Vic in, I think was their only change.
Sure.
But everyone else is kind of like, you know, smashes of kind of 2 teams, like, you know, M80 is like a smash of, like, the best of Ghosts with, like, a couple of new guys. G2 is a blend of Sentinels and version 1. Then you got, like, new teams just kind of on their way up. Like, Oxygen obviously was, like, a brand new team that kind of just got thrown together. Same with Mad Lion, same with Turtle Troop. And BreakThru's no exception. You know, they're a team that's kind of just come together within the last couple of months. So I think that also accounts for a lot of the variance that you see.
That's a good point. Okay. Just kind of curious to see how you kind of evaluated them. I mean, we're going to get a lot of that conversation for what it's worth, I think, at Lock In too, just because it's the same situation, maybe even further exasperated, because the last time a lot of those teams played were at just champs, like not a lot of off-season events at all. So, and for some of them, like barely even at all at champs. Like, I don't know. It'll be really interesting, I think, just to see how everything kind of pans out and what level of Valorant we're going to get right off the rip to start off the 2023 year at, you know, the highest level across all the international regions, and then kind of come back and reevaluate where these teams are, you know, right afterwards, to say maybe they did have something kind of figured out that maybe some of the VCT teams didn't, or vice versa, where it's, oh, why did we not think of that before? Again, like I mentioned, you can kind of draw inspiration off of what you see, you know, across all the international regions playing up against one another, not just, you know, your North American, or I guess now just the category. You know, if it was just a regional starting tournament, the fact that it's international, I think, provides a lot of, you know, pencil to paper moments where you can start to jot down a ton of ideas. The other curious part about this is for the teams that come out flat in this first stage, where do you look to try to find your next solution? Because, you know, this is going to be a unique experience in certain ways for the challengers now being part of like an official league, where it's like there's not a ton of other stuff that's happening behind the scenes. So, you know, how do you pick up, you know, and fill the gaps and things that you're missing in this stage? I think will be really curious as well.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully after 2 weeks of play, you will kind of start to notice like what holes you might have in your map pool, or what things you might be struggling with the most within the course of a round. Like, hey, are we struggling with our retakes, or are we struggling with our mid-round protocols? You know, are our defaults not quite up to snuff? Do we need to like kind of start changing up some compositions on some certain maps? The problem is on top of all of that, you're also going to have to account for the fact that you're going to have to, you know, start prepping 2 new maps.
Sure.
And certainly that's a way you can try to get back ahead if you are able to latch onto one of those maps early, which Split obviously will be familiar to many people, though it's had some significant changes, I think, that really help out the attacking side in particular. But, you know, Lotus is a whole new ball game. And so unless someone's going to permaban against you, that could be your curveball to kind of sneak back into the league if you're able to be an early adopter of Lotus and use it to your advantage.
Yeah.
So that'll certainly be something to keep an eye on when we return after our 2-week break, so to speak.
Yeah, okay. A lot of interesting conversation points. I mean, you're going to hear a bunch of it, I think, on the desk at VCT as well.
No, what's interesting to me is how long it takes to move to Discord.
You know, it's funny because it is the year 2023.
Like it seems like
I could
long
literally
time.
move to like 18 different Discords in 2 seconds. But
I think, yeah, I actually just went to one and came back just now. Just to test it, yeah. It's pretty quick,
you're
actually.
You're cracked out of your mind. You're twisted.
Yeah, dude, it's pretty insane. You just open the application on your PC, and I mean, it's just right there, isn't it?
True. I mean, I don't know about you, but it's literally my only form of communication I ever use for anything, pretty much at this point.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Not really sure where we're at.
Could all be a simulation.
Alrighty then, we are back and live. Hopefully, Diamond was killed because this has been a good one so far. Dust 10-8, the count going into round 19. It's BreakThru needs to put together a response, not on the greatest economical situation as we retally the assets.
I was just glad they figured out how to use Discord.
Same,
Shout out to those folks.
difficult app, honestly. Very difficult user interface.
G2 looking to put the pressure on early here at B after the long tech pause. 4 members strong with Dapper just lurking out at middle. He does like lurking.
He's deep, too, I'll tell you that much.
Deep.
And he could isolate really easily, but it's going to instead just back away. Oxy first blood on the way in. Sim had to back off. You still have... He just got a classic. So you don't expect too much to happen with him. The rest of the defenders of BreakThru on their way over, and you're kind of just looking at Thief and Proto, the two with weapons, to see if they can make anything happen, although as they lose one, now it's just down to who can actually follow up and do they need it, because Proto has been so good. Neural Theft now earned, and G2 are pushed away from the site.
Yeah, that kind of kills Dapper's flank through B-Link as well. It's going to be red at this point, but still going to be really tough to get this diffuse down. It's a pretty exposed area here, and G2 has pretty good positioning here at back B ramp, and there's low health players everywhere for BreakThru.
Showstopper deep? Oh my goodness, that's going to land at a Proto. Paint Shells is trying to push Thief away as Dapper will reveal just a little bit enough. And yeah, this is one of those situations that it's never fun to pull up the Showstopper, but it does win you the round if you're G2.
Here's another thing I'll say. Dapper did tweet out 3 Z face emojis, and then I tweeted back to him, why don't you guys get back into the game? And the game did start only just a few seconds after that tweet. So I'd like to think that I had some impact in getting us back from that tech pause. So everyone, you're welcome.
One moment where casters had some semblance of a start button.
Yeah. Thank your boy Dust for getting this thing back on the road.
You are the people's champion, Dust.
I appreciate you.
Anytime. And if not the people's, definitely my champion.
Oh, that's so sweet.
That was very flirtatious. You're welcome.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Valentine's Day is soon.
It's true. I am a free agent.
I'm not.
Oh, well, there goes my hopes and dreams.
Sorry,
Sim for
bud.
first blood onto BreakThru. And the rest of this hit is still chugging forward towards B. Offensive and defensive stars are being placed. Proto hoping for some spam downs, but not Nightfall quickly afterwards, and they will isolate through B-Link. My goodness, what a route. And keep your eye on that water side through mid. You've got full map control here for G2. They don't have to force a plant yet. You can just wait for this long flank to come through, although BreakThru may not let them. Goodness, the utility just does not stop coming. The long flank is still on the way.
Whippy. Yeah, I was about to say, Whippy's been doing this. He's been marinating this flank for a hot second, and he gets his frag. Brock did get the read at least, but Whippy finally, he's been
Match point.
waiting for that for quite some time.
Man.
And so we're at map and series point now for G2. A long tech pause, but maybe a quick finish here after returning from it. It was the way G2's playing right now.
I'll say. And let's just go ahead and just highlight it one more time here. That's great restraint from G2 to sit there, and you already have the execute. You could go for a quick plant, but you decide instead to wait for Whippy's flank just to make sure you have a good lockdown of the entire site. I love that call.
Yep.
Bring them down.
Oh, hi there.
How is Oxy still alive?
He shouldn't be.
Might not be still, although
Dapper.
run back. Yeah.
Guardian Angel. Nice spam to get Oxy out of a tough spot. Early A main pressure here from G2 as well to grab Orb. So well off of any ults on their side of the board. Thief does have Cosmic Divide available for retake if need be, or to maybe even slow down the attack itself if he spots anything.
Yeah, it may have to be for retake here. Although BreakThru are stepping forward a little bit to try to deal with this, and Thief with the first blood, that's going to cause the rotation to come through. All of a sudden, that Cosmic Divide may seem a little bit more likely. 5v4 situation. G2 still not feeling comfortable enough to plant yet. Penny's the one holding on to the spike, and they're going to try to meet any play over through Art. Sims around the corner, predicted completely. Now G2 on a re-rep back to B.
That was brilliant. Just gathering together, knowing that they're in a tough spot in a 4v5. They just gather up with the read. They attack Art, and like you said, now that doubt is in the back of BreakThru's head. Maybe they rotated. Maybe they're in the middle. It slows everything down and allows the spike to plant more safely on the side itself. And Dapper with huge coverage there on Flya.
More to come, too. All 3 kills in the round go to Dapper. Now the tags come out. Does he get the ace in the final? No, Shasini will finish it off. G2 after the long tech pause. Do not make us wait